live. There we are. Live on stream to the world.
How do I get to our Twitch?
Let's let Emily connect.
Sorry.
She has to get on the stream. You know, I just got glasses for the computer. I went to the eye doctor because I can't see. And apparently my far vision is still 20/20. It just must have been much better before. I guess I was a superhero. Because I've noticed my vision getting worse, and he was like,
what kind of psycho is this age and still has good vision?
Yeah. How can you see anything in 2024?
Exactly.
But
without
he was like, I was like, my eyes are really tired on the computer. And he was like, well, I can give you this prescription. So,
but I mean, it's like,
was the prescription for glasses or?
It is. It makes close stuff really big. It makes like the computer screen easy to read. But if I tried to like look far away, it's like super blurry.
Can't
Wait,
see.
that shouldn't. That's not good. That shouldn't be like that.
I don't know. That's what happened.
Well, that's why they're just glasses, right? I mean,
I guess. I mean,
I think.
Usually you have. I mean, I guess if you didn't get transitions or the
bifocal. I was going to say bifocals. Yeah.
Emily, are you connecting to the?
Yeah, I'm there, I guess.
What did you guys think about this movie?
Well, I'm looking up a sequel right now just to get ready for the next one.
Not gonna reveal that. We have 2 viewers in the chat. I think both of them are Emily.
I was gonna say, I think one's me.
Oh, you said that you are here.
I said, am I here? Because I wanted to check if it was working.
Thank you for joining the Twitch chat, Emily. Even though you're on the stream, I appreciate that.
Also, I hit live by accident, and I thought like I was going live on my phone also, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing.
Once again, you know what I should do because
there's Joe. Hey y'all.
Hey, what's going on? You know, because there's a soundboard in Discord, I should add the intro music to the Discord soundboard.
Yeah.
So that we.
Okay.
Does that work? Can you put whole songs
You're like
in
getting
here?
interrogated.
There's a limit. I know from adding all those super annoying sounds to our soundboard previously.
Well, I might have to edit the intro down to short and then have it fade out and then put that in so that you guys can hear it. But for tonight's episode, just me and Emily are going to hear the intro song.
Hum it out.
So, in that case, let's get this show on the road.
Maybe you should sing with it so that they know.
Yeah, so you know. Here we go. Ready. Are you ready? Phil knows
A rum-tum tugger is a curious cat.
And welcome to another Date Night D-List movie review. Tonight, we are joined by a very special guest. Our good friend, Phil Brenz, has come over to my house. This is on the other side of the basement. Yes, hi, Phil. And he...
high five?
The number one D-List fan has wanted to do a D-List review. And thankfully, thank you for giving us an idea for a movie to review. And thanks for coming out of the show, Phil.
Absolutely. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm very excited to be here. I couldn't wait to watch this movie, and then I watched it, and we'll get to that, but
yeah.
The only person who loves bad movies more than us is Phil. So I really am glad that you're on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, there's nothing better than watching something I don't like. That's what I always say. So
I enjoy it now to the point
Had you seen this before? I was under the impression you had seen it.
I had a long time ago, probably when it first came out. I did a little pre-work.
I had also seen part because I knew some things and I was like, did I see this? I'm not quite sure. So
you may there's a very similar movie, you may have heard of it. It was called Snow White, actually. And it involved a lot of the same
very similar is a stretch.
Yeah, I don't know if it is actually, to tell you the truth.
Well, copied the name.
I was gonna say the name. Maybe.
Hitting the Snow White points in this movie almost feel obligatory. It's almost like, well, we got to put an apple in.
Yeah,
there's got to be dwarves.
Now we've got it right. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about? That's right. We watched Snow White and the Huntsman from 2012. let me give you the one sentence overview of this movie. In a twist to the fairy tale, the huntsman ordered to take Snow White into the woods to be killed, which that's not true, winds up becoming her protector and mentor in a quest to vanquish the evil queen.
First of all, I don't think he was supposed to kill her, and he's not her mentor.
He didn't take her into the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things didn't happen.
The whole thing.
Other than all the details,
It's just
really
not accurate.
So
Yeah.
I know you guys always start with the IMDb description, but I think the Rotten Tomatoes description offers a good look at this too.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, and I quote, "While it offers an appropriately dark take on the fairy tale that inspired it, Snow White and is undone by even acting, problematic pacing, and a confused script." So they forgot the Huntsman, but the uneven acting, problematic pacing, and confused script made it quite
I will agree
an
with that
enjoyable
one.
watch.
And what is the
I'd say
tomato
that's
score,
true.
Phil?
Yeah.
49%, but 52% audience score. So, critics are wrong again, turns out.
But
Well, I've
for it,
always
Ken.
got to put an asterisk on Rotten Tomatoes because that's a pass-fail score.
Right.
And I think
That's
it's
true.
a 60% is a pass. So if you thought it was a D+, it still gets
Yeah.
a 100%,
Yeah,
basically.
I don't know if I
Really?
trust that.
I don't like that scoring model, but yeah,
But-
I don't like Rotten Tomatoes.
I did
but
look, and
I
it
know
did
it's
make
popular
money. Like, this
It
was
did.
not
Shocking.
It made a boatload of money.
It made money, and it also had 2
There's a
Oscar
sequel.
nominations. So it had
No,
best
Come
visual
on.
effects
Well-
and best costume design, which I will
The
admit,
costumes were amazing.
those
okay.
are pretty
I
good.
I'll vouch for both of those. Yep.
I think the
That's
problem
fair.
is,
The
like,
costumes in
no
this
one
are
wrote a
off the
story.
charts.
I love Joe's comment
There's
in the
no
chat.
story.
He says, "What Twilight is this?"
Yeah, that's about how I felt. Where you're like,
Charlize
I don't know.
Well,
what we're
I was
watching.
just looking up.
Charlize
This came
Theron
out
wore
the
milk
same
better than
year
anyone I've
as
ever seen.
Part 2. That's true. Although it's very paint looking. It's very oil-based paint looking.
Okay, let's see
So
how you
this
look
came
wearing
out the
milk,
same year as... Yeah, that's fair. Breaking Dawn Part 2, which is the finale to the Twilight Saga.
The Twilight.
So this was
Okay.
Kristen Stewart's year.
Oh, she was.
This was supposed to be
big.
it. And you can see how her career did not blossom
Did not
after this
flourish
and
after.
the end of the Twilight Saga. Yeah.
Well, I will
Other
warn
notable-
everyone right now that I call Chris Hemsworth just Chris the whole time. And then I was
Yep.
like, what was his name? And I looked it up. It's just the Huntsman. He does not have a name.
It's the Huntsman. Yeah.
It's just the
My notes say
Huntsman.
Thor frequently.
Yeah.
The other 2012 movie that came out was The Avengers. So that's what I wrote.
Wow,
Oh,
really?
wow.
Oof, oof,
Boy, talk
oof.
about
Yeah.
he managed to catapult himself out of this movie, whereas
He was like, I got
Beautiful.
it out.
what's her name did not recover.
I'm going to
No.
present to you guys my thesis on this movie before we get into it.
Okay.
And it seems like somebody wrote an outline for a fantasy epic in the Snow
I
White
don't even
universe.
know if an outline happened.
And
but
they have these hits. They have these lines. I want this
Yeah.
person to say this here, and this person to say this here.
or like scenes
then
also.
They got the money. The producers said, "Here's the money to go make this movie," and they never went and wrote the script. So the
Yep.
only lines in the movie were those ones in the original outline.
Yep.
There's nothing in
Yeah.
between.
Yep.
You know, like
100%.
people will not talk for long periods of time, and then
Huge
suddenly
periods of time.
they'll deliver that like unearned epic line.
Yeah,
right?
which
Yes.
never makes
Undeserved.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
And I,
here, oh, sorry,
go ahead,
Ken.
Phil.
Okay, so
no, Phil, you're up.
they-
You're the guest.
they had I think what happened is they made an outline for the movie. They didn't think they were ever going to make it. They got approval, but they said you've only got 1 week to figure this out.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they went back and watched a whole bunch of fantasy movies, and they just picked scenes
Yeah.
from each of them.
That's
Because as we go
fair.
through this,
That's
you're
fair.
gonna notice, oh my gosh, that's the same scene from The Lord of the Rings. That's
Yes.
the scene from Narnia, and they just couldn't differentiate them from whatever movie they made.
they're beautiful recreations of those scenes. They're well
100%.
shot and they're pretty
But-
looking, and but there's no substance to it. It's
Yeah.
as
It's-
thin
Yeah.
as my hairline, right? It's gone.
There's
There's-
no before and after
and I don't
for
think-
all those scenes either. So you're like,
No.
okay,
Right.
and then the scene just ends, and you're like, I don't know. What
And
I'm
I don't
doing.
know if more dialogue would have helped, because the dialogue is also just they're bullet points, right? They're exposition, hero statement, charge.
Right.
How many lines does Snow White have in this movie?
Hey,
A
Ben.
dozen? She
She
barely speaks.
her main part in the movie is looking like she smells something that she doesn't quite like,
Yeah.
and she just goes,
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I remember
100%.
poor-
"Frequently."
What's her name? Bella. That's what her name is in Twilight, right?
Kristen Stewart.
She
yeah.
got a lot of flack. Yeah, she got a lot of flack. Some of it
Oh.
fair, some of it undeserved, for like just doing like the pouty face. And now I think
Oh,
I get it.
yeah.
If you went and you saw this movie and Twilight Part 2
You're like
in the
something's wrong.
same year, you'd be like, you're doing the same thing. You're just doing sad, quivering lip,
Well,
red face,
Joey's-
just upset.
I think I wrote, why is this in my notes? I just have a pig face, like, is the last
Oh.
page of my notes for some reason. Okay, well, that got mixed in. Because when I write this, it's just honestly on the computer while we're watching, and then I don't edit or anything. So most of it is me being
Excellent.
like, why is she mad? What is going on? She
Right,
looks mad again.
right.
But when I reread it, it is her a lot at the end being like, why is she so pissed off? That's just her face. That's just her in
and,
general.
like, she's playing the same character in both of those movies, and it's not like we haven't seen a better Kristen Stewart since then. I mean, when we did Charlie's Angels, which
was
wasn't a
pretty
good
decent
movie,
there.
I
she
was
the
gonna say
highlight of
that.
movie.
That's the one
She's the good
character I
part of
would
that
say.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But
She
this was
carries that
before.
movie on her back.
Yeah.
This was before good Kristen Stewart. This was the.
But has there been anything since
This is
then?
the.
This is like moody.
She doesn't even
teen.
have any lines in this
know.
movie until she puts armor on.
She's
I don't think she
still-
says anything
Which is-
until she puts armor
Yeah,
on.
That's true.
I wrote
pretty
I don't know.
breathing face as my note, because they
Yes.
frequently
Sure,
have her.
yeah.
They say breathe unevenly for an extended period of time,
Yeah.
and just sort of make the face as if you just climbed up a big hill. And she goes,
Yeah.
and
And they-
breathes into the camera, and it's like, man,
And they
that's
don't
awkward.
make
I-
sense.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
It is, it
she's-
is also like
It's
they cut a
bizarre.
bunch of scenes where you're like, what? I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure what we. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a hot mess, but
We need to get this show on
Yeah,
the road, or
I
we're
was gonna
never
say,
going to
this
get
is kinda,
there.
like, long in a
Emily,
way.
why don't you take us?
Well, there's
down
very
the
little
journey?
movie.
Yeah, maybe
well,
this
there
won't
is,
take
but
very
there
long.
isn't. So okay,
famous last words. This is gonna be
Yeah.
a 4-hour.
it's gonna be a
Yeah,
4-hour
no
thing.
kidding.
So here we go.
Right.
It's
Right.
always
Oh, wait.
longer to talk about the movie than it is to watch it.
Well, I mean,
Here's my thing. We do the IMDb. We talk about, my thing is, should you see this if you're even remotely curious about it?
no,
Waste of time.
I don't think you should.
thumbs down.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, no.
No.
But,
Go on
can you watch-
YouTube. If you see this trailer and it looks cool, what's that?
well, can you watch the prequel without having seen this one though? Because the prequel was even worse and made less money. So
I kind of
It's
want to see the
probably
prequel.
It's
I know.
probably more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not kidding.
It looks worse in a funnier way, like a more
See,
exciting
I would enjoy
way.
that more.
I think this is the first time in a while
Yeah.
we saw a movie that I would say that you should not go watch.
Yeah, because usually they're at least kind of
Waste
Yeah.
of your time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. It's just go on YouTube and search for like Snow White and the Huntsman cinematography or something,
Yeah,
because it
then
will
you'll
show
have a
you
good
a whole bunch
time.
of really cool scenes, and that's all you need to know.
I was gonna say
That's all
pretty
there
much
is
the
in this movie.
Zack
Cool
Snyder
scenes.
presents.
Yeah, that's all. you need.
This could be this is a Zack Snyder joint. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start out. I cut ahead on a lot of things because otherwise it's gonna last forever.
Oh.
So we're gonna start with the Queen has a baby. It's Snow White. Okay, I call her Snow from here on out.
Forgot about that part.
Young Snow White's running around. Mom's clearly sick. She's always coughing and shit. She brings a crow to Mom. Mom's like, "You're great. You love animals, all that stuff." Okay, we know Snow White's special. Snow's hanging out with William. Nobody knows who the fuck William is, but okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh
that's
boy.
and that's about all
Talk
you see
about
of
I thought he was gonna be the
underdeveloped
Huntsman.
characters.
He's not.
They set it
No.
up. I thought he was the huntsman.
This comes up later though, so it's important that we establish this now. She has a kid because she pricks her finger
Yeah.
and 3 blood drops drop onto the ground.
Oh
then
yeah, and then she
decides to have a
drinks the
kid.
And
milk.
it's like
Oh,
this
The blood
yeah.
milk.
This is
Don't they
crucial.
drip into the milk? And she drinks
I
the
don't-
blood milk? I thought that's what that was.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Yeah. This is so important though, because if
Whatever it
we
was.
don't know this, how are we going to understand the
This
rest
is
of the
gonna
movie?
ruin the whole thing.
How would we
So-
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the mom dies during the next winter. The king is super sad. Hold on. And then, like, literally,
I
as
loved
fast as I
this.
say, and it cuts to a dark
This
army.
is my
That's
favorite
how it is
part.
in the movie.
Yep, go.
Cuts to a dark
Go.
army. They appeared. They went to battle. Okay, so now we're in
Gladiator.
battle.
Yep.
It's Gladiator. This is the opening scene from
Keep
Gladiator.
going.
So
The cavalry.
It is.
Yeah.
It
It's
is shot for shot.
straight out of
Yes.
Gladiator.
They used
Yeah.
the same
100%.
set, the same
And
flaming
it looks
fire
good.
catapults.
It looks
does.
just as good as it did.
And
It
that's
does.
how that made money, is because they just borrowed everybody else's sets and like the trees were still on
They
fire.
so
from
right.
the
Would
blood.
not be surprised if that's true.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
absolutely.
They rolled
So
into that in Gladiator, one of the greatest movies ever made. They fight the Gauls in the
Yeah.
German forest. And this production set moved in as that movie moved out.
They're
and they
like,
just
"Before
said,
you
leave the
clean
fires
up, yeah,
burning.
don't clean up.
Yep.
We're gonna
Sorry.
get in there before you clean anything up. Okay. Just
The
let
good news
us-
is, real
give us a
quick, though,
day.
The good news is that I was a little confused at this point, and then one of the guys turns to the king and he says, "Why are we even here?" And I felt like I was
Yeah.
right on board with where the plot was,
Exactly.
because I also didn't know, so that was helpful.
It was legit. Like mom dies, and they're like, "The Dark Army happened." You're like, oh, "What?"
And you're like,
What?
what the fuck?
What?
And then
So-
they approach, if you don't mind me saying,
Go
they
for it.
charge the Dark Army, and the Dark Army are like weird automatons.
Yeah, they don't do
They
anything.
do not
They
move
just hang out.
as the cavalry charges through them.
Yeah.
I didn't.
which
I mean,
is weird.
it gets explained later, but it's delivered very
It still
strange.
doesn't.
I didn't
I
think
don't
that
know.
was weird that they put up no defense to the charge. No, I did. I did think
Oh,
that
I
was
think you said I
weird.
did.
Oh yeah, like they don't lower their spears. They
Nothing.
don't
They
ready
just stand
shields
there.
in
They just
any
take it.
way,
So they when
and they look
are
sort
like-
of. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. No, go for it, Ken.
No, I was just gonna say because
No.
you'll find out later, they're a summoned dark army or whatever. They're
Yeah, so
Yes.
when they slash
up
into
to this
them,
point.
they're like just
Well,
immediately
like-
done. So
The costume design in this is consistently
it is good,
excellent, like really, really good.
but it's
Think
like they only
Gladiator.
did that.
But they charge into CGI like guys who have their masks. You can't see that it's a human in any way, and I understand that's the point. But there's a really bizarre contrast between statue men made of CGI and like expert costume design with sweating horses and dudes and dirt
That's
and
true.
and they run through like CGI. They go through air, right?
Yeah.
You can see it.
The King's army, those guys, their armor, they looked amazing. Like
Yeah.
It
It
looks
was
fantastic.
like Knights of the Round, like, but a whole army of knights. You would
Yeah.
never have a whole army of knights. It was insane.
Yeah, that's true. That
that
doesn't quite
like
make
you
sense.
wouldn't have that many suits of armor that are that like
Right.
Yeah.
like amazing. They looked good.
His wife just died. He was pissed. He called.
It's
the-
really
So-
good.
He
So
gathered up the
conveniently-
gang.
Once again, they were able to reuse armor, because you'll notice that the armor they had the tree of Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna
Oh,
say.
did it
So
really?
Does
they
it?
didn't,
Okay.
didn't have to pay for
I
new
wouldn't
armor
be
either.
surprised.
Yeah, beautiful.
Mr.
This
Jack.
is,
Looks just as good as when it was in Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
yeah.
Held up.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, when they fight them, they turn to like shards of glass, ash, whatever you want to call it. They defeat the army easily. They find a prisoner all chained up. AKA if it was like a person who got ready to go to the club and then got chained up. Like, did you find me? Like
But she's like so dolled up.
In a
Pristine. She
bag.
is like,
Yeah.
so she's chained up, and they're like, it's
Yeah.
okay, no problem. It's Charlize Theron, whatever. And
Theron.
it says in the thing, the king
Furiosa.
forgot his broken heart, and the next day he married her. Which you're like, I'm assuming that's
Yeah,
like some sort
meets
of magic
her,
curse,
marries
but
her. Spoiler, dies within like 16 hours.
he is.
Guy really went for
He
it.
had a
Let's not
hard
forget.
time.
And I
Got to
wrote this
respect the
down.
hustle.
Quote, taking advantage of his grief.
Is that what she said?
That's
Or
what it
that's
said.
what they
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's what she did. Okay.
okay, so they get married,
Sure.
big church. She's looking around creepy the whole time. While she's walking down the
So-
aisle, she's sus. I'm going to say that right now. This is picture number 2, Ben.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I wasn't paying attention because this all happened within 90 seconds.
I was going to say 5 minutes
They go
at the
from-
most.
Yeah, crushing this weird glass army to him being married to her.
He's married. So
Yeah.
then the king and queen are getting it on. Okay. She starts chatting while he's kissing. And then she's talking about how kings ruined her. She replaced the queen, men use women, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden he starts like gagging, can't breathe. And essentially she stabs him in the heart, which right
Was she-
away I was like, that seems too obvious.
Was
Like,
she
you're not going to get away
casting
with
a
this.
spell on him
Right.
though
I don't
before
know.
that?
She poisoned the wine.
Oh.
But she poisoned it,
Oh.
and because the wine spills out, but she poisoned him, and then she looks at it like poison, right? And then she pulls out the dagger and starts wiping him
I was
out.
like, I
Yeah.
feel like you don't
Felt-
need to do the dagger.
I had to just
like-
poison
And then-
him. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't call me
When-
old fashioned, but I would have
Okay.
just done the poison and stopped there. I don't know.
We'll get into this. I feel like she took the wrong route to be evil. You could be evil in a more shush way. Like she
I was gonna
straight
say,
up,
yeah,
"I'm
she doesn't-
evil." And you're like, well, you could just
Yeah,
like,
she
pretend you're the
doesn't-
queen and secretly, right?
She doesn't snake her way in.
No.
She sort of
She's
like
like,
knocks on the
"Ta-da!"
door and then stabs the first person that opens and like rushes in. It's
Yeah.
sort of it's like a
It does, which I feel
It's a
like you
very
don't need to be married.
violent
You could have
home
just done that.
invasion.
You could
Yeah,
have just came
that's
in
the
and
thing. There
stabbed
was all
them.
this.
Because then the daughter comes in and she sees Charlize Theron holding the bloody dagger, and she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Ah,
Yes,
you
I
got
don't know
me.
what happened.
Yeah, I don't
I guess-
know.
Guess it was.
It's very
guess it was
weird.
me.
dead. Guess
So-
I'm in charge.
She immediately goes
Oh,
outside.
shit.
She opens up the gate and lets all the evil people in, and her creepy fucking brother. This picture number 3, guys. He
Oh,
has
man.
the best
Friar
haircut,
Tuck?
though. Friar Tuck,
Absolutely,
man.
it's the best
Fucking
haircut.
coming
I'll tell
on
you
in.
what.
Yeah.
This
Do you
guy,
like Friar Tuck?
top tier,
Creep?
gross,
Yeah.
little slimy boy.
Yeah.
Like
I will agree
upper
with that.
echelon, S++ slime ball.
Look at that haircut.
This dude-
That is beautiful.
He might
just-
be the most developed character in this movie, just because he's firing on all cylinders.
I'm laughing
With
because it's
gross-
true.
It is
That
true,
picture-
I
sadly.
think he is.
Like,
That
I
picture's perfect though.
understand him in this more than anyone else.
Joe in the chat, Ken needs this haircut.
Oh man, I'm
You
almost
could
there. I
totally
just
do
gotta,
it.
No.
You
I just have to calm it down.
If I turned
The-
right here, I could have a haircut, though. I could do it.
This picture's perfect though because he looks exactly how I looked watching this movie.
Close.
Like, what
How
is
do I go
happening?
is it Twitch? How do I see these pictures?
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yes, you have to go look at the Twitch.
Yeah, you have to go to the Twitch. It's in our stories. Is the link.
Let's see.
Okay, so she lets in all the evil peeps, her creepy brother. Essentially, she opens up the gate, and they just are like killing everyone. Snow White wakes up, sees her dad is dead. Everyone's getting murdered outside. Which, once again, if this was a plan, why not just storm the castle? Why
Just
marry
do
her?
that.
I
Yeah,
don't know why we had to.
yeah.
I don't know. William, little
Oh,
boy,
God.
gets out in
That
time.
hair.
Snow White doesn't. She gets caught by the creepy brother.
Do that
Okay.
haircut, Ken.
Then they. But
Look
Ken's
at it.
hair
It's like a
doesn't
wig
go
on
down.
top of a wig. How does it? Yeah.
It is. It's like an underwig, and then you have one that
Yeah.
goes over. Okay, they bring in the fucking creepy mirror. It's essentially a giant like bowl that sits on the wall. It's not.
It's a
mirror.
symbol. It's a
Yeah.
it's a
It's a,
Zildjian,
like-
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Do you think?
If you
Go ahead.
if you
Phil.
cut the mirror out of this show, there would be nothing different about it.
Yeah.
initiates the second half
Mhm.
plot, but for no reason. Like it,
Yeah.
and they never come back to it in the end. I don't understand
And
why.
They don't talk about it.
it's also really, it's got she has the witch has a weird dynamic with the mirror where sometimes she's in charge of it, yet also I think it gives her powers, maybe?
It
I
tells her what
don't
to
quite
do,
understand.
certainly.
I don't know because
Yeah, it's
in the
sort
first scene, it's kind of like it kind of gives her a little. So okay,
Is it like
she's
on her
talking
team?
to it. Well, hold on, she's talking
Yeah.
to it, and she says, "Who's the fairest?" The mirror's like liquid gold, kind of turns into a person. It looks like a person dressed
It
up
looks
as a
cool.
ghost. Okay, but it looks good.
I'll give them points. Yeah.
But this is when the mirror says, "Is there no end to your power and beauty?" Which right away the mirror's kind of like, "Bitch, you need to chill it out, lock
A
it
little
up.
sussy.
We're good, okay."
Yeah.
But then later it's like, "I'll tell you what to do." So I don't know what this mirror's doing. It seems a little back
Yeah.
and forth.
Who
Not quite
was
sure.
like, "Hey guys, you know what'd be cool? What if the mirror,
But the mirror doesn't
wasn't a mirror?"
come out as a person another time,
course.
does it? Does it
becomes a
always
person-
turn to a gold person every time?
It's always a person.
Yep,
don't
it
know.
tells
I
it
didn't-
tells
I
her
clearly
it tells her
didn't
Kristen
remember.
Stewart's way prettier than her, which
Which is
I
like-
you know.
On what scale? I don't
Yeah,
know who's
like you got the wrong actress that's gonna like be like the fairest of the land.
It should
Like,
have been
come
like
on.
Well-
I don't know.
It's we'll get into it, but it's not even, they don't even demonstrate what fair means, because I
No.
don't think, they don't say she's prettier, but they don't do enough to set up
Well-
that Snow White is like kind.
Yeah.
I
Or-
100% agree with this.
No.
But later, when the girls are like, "We cut our faces so she can't touch us," you're like, "So it's just physical? We're just doing physical."
Oh.
Yeah, right.
But
It was
but
minor
then, like you
Oh.
said, Ken, everyone talks about like her heart and her spirit and you're like, so which one?
But they
what
don't
are we
set that up
doing?
either.
It
Yeah.
doesn't make
Right.
sense. So I totally
Yeah.
agree with
Well,
that, though.
I think one of the problems is that Charlize Theron's agent clearly told her that she was in a different movie than the one everybody else was in. So she is just acting her heart out in this deep Shakespearean
Oh.
drama that no one else is
Yeah.
involved in. She is just she
100%.
delivers monologues, and the director just lied to her. She was filming on her own because no one else is acting at all. And
Well, she
it's
has
Yeah,
those. She
crazy.
has
That's-
all the epic scenes, but they're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they go from like A to B, and then they stop, and you're like, hold on, and that's it. But she does them all good, but that's it.
Yeah,
There's
she's
nothing-
good.
nothing
I
in
think
between.
her, Charlize Theron, and Snow White got the Shakespearean dialogue, and a lot of the other characters got like, well, whatever, just say it however you want.
Wow.
doesn't
And it
matter,
creates
yeah.
this, it creates this weird juxtaposition of, I know Emily, you were saying like, there's a lot of sort of catchphrasey stuff
It's weird.
where, well, we'll get into it, but
yeah.
Kristen Stewart saves the day. It's unearned, and she's speaking like,
Yeah.
"Art thou dost I deliver thy knife?" And well, on the
Yes.
in the scene prior, Chris Hemsworth is struggling to do, I think, an Irish accent, but he's just
I
sort of
don't
like,
know.
Why isn't
Oh,
he just
man.
Australian?
It is so weird what he does. I wrote down it sounds
Yeah.
like he's in a 1940s cartoon. I don't know what is
he's
happening.
all over the place with the accents. I
so
think he does like
weird.
a Mario. Oh, we gotta save the kingdom. Like, I
never
think he.
Never gonna get through this
We're never
movie.
gonna try
There's
to
so
try.
much more movie, and none of it
But
matters.
there's
Oh my God,
not.
it doesn't
None of
There's
it
really
not.
matters.
Just race
Okay,
through
okay.
it.
The town and the land goes downhill, okay? She rules, all that crap. Snow White's been in prison for like, I don't know, 10, 12 years? I don't, like a long
Yeah,
fucking
she's
time.
super. She would have a lot of issues going on
she's-
after.
she's-
And she
Her
seems
bones have atrophied.
fine
She's
for
physically
hanging
dead.
out there, though.
Right.
I don't know how
She's
she's still...
She's
also-
just been hanging out in this room.
I'm gonna give them a rare costume thumbs down here. She's in jail in a
What's
dress
up with that?
that looks.
With the poofy
She
shoulders.
went into jail
would you
when
give
she
her
was
that?
like 10, and she's in a really nice but also
Yeah,
prisony
they
like
updated her
Do you
damsel
think that
dress.
there's a part of this
Wouldn't
story
they just
that they
be like,
didn't
here's
show?
a fucking like t-shirt?
She
Like,
would
they
be in
wouldn't
a
give her
sack.
anything.
Yeah.
No, maybe there was like the 16th birthday, like they threw a ball for her
no.
and they made her this gown, and then they
No.
like
In
pulled
the
the rug out
prison?
from under
No
her, and we
way.
just missed that dress is supposed to tell us this
No,
whole
because she
like,
goes into prison when she's like 6.
yeah, but they did
Yeah.
that. We didn't see them do the Sweet
No.
16
They
dress.
didn't do a Sweet
It got made
16.
by
You
mice
psycho.
and birds,
Oh, well, that's
but
true.
she
Maybe.
got Cinderella.
Oh man, we'll get to
Well-
that. Yuck.
Okay, Snow White's in her cell. She hears another girl. It's a pretty young thing, is what I wrote down.
Thing.
It's
Hold on,
another
sorry, I gotta
woman.
Pretty
Flip.
young thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
A
Anyway,
PYT.
cut to the stepmom. She's ripping out bird hearts, eating them, being a creep. Okay. She
Ugh.
is getting her giant milk bath prepared. I'm sorry.
Is it milk or paint?
I don't know. Her brother is
I
like
think it's like a-
chained to her.
It's like a self-leveling primer, I think.
I wrote. Well, go ahead, Emily. I'll give you a minute.
No.
Well, I was just gonna say, so she's talking to her brother, and then she strips naked. They're still chit chatting, which you're like, okay, I guess is our relationship. She enters the milk bath, aka paint. I don't know, comes out in slow mo. We got that visual effect, and they're just still chit chatting, so that's weird. And then I just said I could not tell you what they were talking about during this scene because
There's some sort of weird
I don't even know what's going on at the
power dynamic where she has the powers, but
Yeah,
I think she's
but she
also
kinda
keeping
gives them
him
to
alive.
Yeah, I think
Well,
so
I
too.
think.
So I'm going to spoil the next scene. She dumps the milk out to the peasants and they
Yes.
drink it. I wrote, "Why is everything
Yeah.
milk?" I don't understand
I
that.
don't
It
know
was
what
disgusting.
that was about. It's like falling
creepy.
on them, and they're all
Doesn't
excited.
come up
and-
again.
And she talks
Don't
about
worry.
how she's
It doesn't come up
feeding them.
again.
I don't know if it's like a milk.
I don't know.
Bath
It's
milk
so
is
weird.
not
It's
on the
sorta-
top of my list of
You're
edible
sort of
foods.
you're pinpointing an overarching issue that we don't understand what's happening in the kingdom ever since this witch took over. They don't show much besides the milk, bath,
bath?
which is oddly reminiscent
First of all-
of.
Yeah, keep going.
Anyway,
No, I was
No,
just gonna
no,
say, like,
go
this
on.
is not like this isn't a bath size. This isn't a hot tub size. This is you go to a Great
Pool.
Wolf Lodge and you have
Yeah.
a small pool hot tub. It is filled with milk or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be. But why is it so big?
I don't like it.
I'd be like, I don't know,
I
fill
don't
up like
like it.
a small tub if we need to. I don't know. Anyway. And then she goes to look in the mirror again. Uh-oh, she's got a wrinkle. Watch out. Her brother's being a creep behind her. He's kind of flirting, cuddling. I don't know what he's doing. Being a creep. She says magic comes at a price. Makes them old. So you're like, okay, so we know shit's going down. He says he has a gift.
Going on a journey here. What a perfect segue. We have a couple of comments in the chat.
Oh, okay.
According to Janelle, it is stem cell glue.
Oh, ooh.
And based
Ooh.
on the remember when
That's
we were
somehow
poor
worse.
scene, we've got Joe asking if this is a prequel to Saltburn.
Sadly, well, I haven't watched it for good reasons.
I haven't.
Ugh.
I don't know
I haven't
anything
watched
about that
Saltburn
other than
either.
I think I don't want to watch
I
it.
don't want to watch
Yeah.
it. I know a couple of reasons why.
Yep.
Yep.
Did you watch it, Phil?
Nope. But I
Okay.
listened to some reviews of it, and
Yeah.
Boy,
Oh
we'll
gosh,
talk.
I'm
We'll
gonna
talk
pass.
that
offline.
bad?
Twitch's terms of
Yeah, right. We've
you know, to
You know,
prevent us from
it's-
discussing on stream.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
Joe, you don't
in
want to
some-
watch it? That means you did watch it.
Joe, did you? Now I need to know.
Now we need to know. All right,
Okay.
all right.
All I know is it
Um,
has that one bad song that they keep playing. Anyway,
I just know a couple
What
of
is
the
it,
scenes, and I don't need to see them. So, the brother's like, I got a gift for you. It's that pretty young thing in the prison. She essentially sucks out the girl's soul, is what she takes her like youth.
Sure.
I assume she'd be dead.
Her
She's not
fairness.
dead. She's just like an old lady. Go back to the cell.
and spoiler, she recovers fully at the end of the
I
movie,
know.
which is kind
Which
of
I was
weird.
like, what?
Kind of a weird choice.
Wait, this girl does?
They all do.
She's in the
Anyone
final
she
scene.
sucked the life out of, or the youth, or whatever.
What about all those
They're
dead
fine.
people who were on the
No, they're
floor
not
at the
dead.
end?
They're not dead.
How did I miss that?
Because at the end they were all like, "I'm good to go," and they were like 15 again.
That's
Yep.
weird.
Which
That's not how
seems-
that
It's
works.
very dumb.
Seems dumb.
Yeah, it's a very stupid choice.
Yeah.
Everything I learned in magic class, this is violating all those rules.
This is not following anything. So we're on picture number 4, Ben. Okay, she goes back
don't
and
even
is
know what
asking the
picture number
mirror,
4
who's
is.
the best and prettiest? He says, there's someone better than you. Sorry, bitch. But Snow is doing good. Okay. This is Snow White. Is this Snow White at the point? This is Snow White currently when he's like, I feel like she's doing a little bit better than you. She is a hot fucking mess up in her cell. And Charlize Theron is the prettiest person in the world. So I don't know what we're doing if it's just on a physical level right now. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing.
Kirsten
It's
Stewart,
it's
but,
not. They
It's her
don't
pure
establish
but it's not
fairest
because
in the
later
world,
they do just
but they
physical.
don't show, and they don't show that Kristen Stewart is good.
Oh,
There's
she
nothing
doesn't
to
do
establish
anything.
her as good. Yeah.
So
It's
the
dumb.
mirror warns her, her purity can destroy you and your salvation. Take her heart in your hand. You'll never need another like youth, whatever, kid again, immortality,
it.
all this crap. And then so she says to her brother, go get Snow, bitch. Like, go get him. Snow finds, okay, Snow's been in jail for like 12 years in that cell.
Yeah.
She looks out her
The
window and is like,
majority of
"Would you
her
look at
entire
this?
life.
There's a
has
goddamn
been in
giant nail
jail."
outside my window. You just found this. It took you 12
Right.
years to find this giant
Right.
fucking
The
nail.
fairies put it there.
No, since when? You're just you've been smiling at me in the creepiest way. She takes the giant nail out,
fairies.
pretends she's sleeping. The brother comes in. He clearly like molested her.
Oh
a
man,
ton,
he
which I don't need
this
to know
is
about
like
that.
a gross scene.
It's
That's when he's
extended
like,
too. Like,
And
It's
you're like,
very
I
long.
don't need to know.
You're
I
Most
right,
don't need
Phil.
to
scenes
know.
in this movie
Yeah.
are very long, and this one
the
is
Too
the
long.
worst of them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
clearly he's a
Right.
creep.
She's
goes
she's
to,
like
like-
she's my sister's a creep, but I'm not.
So she attacks him, like nails his face,
Friar
locks him in
Tuck.
the cell. Friar Tuck. She goes to unlock that other girl.
He's
She is
gross.
old as shit, bitch. And she essentially is
leave
like,
her.
Yeah.
Leave her.
get
You're
out
gone.
of here without me. I'm 100. Just scat. Get out of here.
Just go.
She
And
starts
Kristen
running.
Stewart's like, I wasn't even gonna wait. I was gonna go anyway.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was
She
not gonna
immediately
wait
was
for
like,
you.
"Bah."
I
Yeah.
accidentally
Yeah.
ran into this door. My mistake.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Sick.
Somehow the brother gets out like right away. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
She
This
goes-
castle is
runs through town and all this shit.
simultaneously full of people and empty at the same time.
But also,
Right,
if
it's
you've
empty
been in
when
there
it's
for 12
convenient and-
years, you wouldn't know your way around. You wouldn't be like, I'm going this way and that, like whatever.
Oh no.
Convenient though, Ken, is exactly how you describe
yeah.
the brother showing up for the rest of this movie.
Oh well,
Like, how do they track them to these obscure places?
we didn't need Chris for
He
this.
needed
Matter.
the huntsman the first time, but after that, he can
is
always find
the
them.
most skilled tracker I've
Yeah.
ever seen. So she sees a
There's
drain
a s-
pipe
yeah.
and superheroes into it, like slides.
Oh, the
like,
poop
whoosh.
chute?
Yep, she's in the
Power
poop chute.
slide.
She
Yeah.
just goes horizontal and rockets across
Like,
the ground
rockets
into the,
into it.
Yeah.
the wall.
I think she
No.
speeds up.
Yeah,
You can
I need
almost
to find,
see
like,
the
a
line that's
clip of
pulling her
this.
like rip
Like,
faster.
it is intense.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
She essentially gets to
Yeah.
I don't know, the ocean, water, what I don't know, whatever. It is
Whatever.
the wildest ocean sea I've ever seen. She jumps
Tsu-
in.
Tsunamis are just destroying
Yeah.
the rock. And
She
I
has
was like,
that
well,
big
she's not gonna
dress
be able to
on.
go that way. Yeah, she can't go that way.
No, she does. Don't worry about it. She jumps in, gets out apparently,
what you
which
think.
you have a 50-pound dress on, so I don't know how she
Yeah.
gets out. She sees a horse on the beach, gets on it, and goes away.
But she's washed
Well,
away
no.
by the waves.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bird
That's
showed
true.
up in her window
There's a
and
bird.
showed her the nail that was previously
Right.
not there. She shows up on the beach. The bird is there. They're getting
So
into the
stupid,
this is
though.
Snow White and she can talk to animals. There's like
But she's not that good
Shadow
with
Fax
animals.
is just chilling on the
Right.
beach,
It
like
is
Correct.
laying.
catching
The point where
rays.
I was
And-
like, I don't think you should get on it when it's laying, and she
The-
does, and I was
It
like,
looked
I don't
hurt.
know.
It
if
looked
I,
injured.
I was
Yeah.
like,
And
I
after being
don't know if you should do that.
after being carried away by the tide, she's immediately deposited adjacent to this horse.
Yes.
And then she's
Yeah,
just like,
the birds.
oh, a horse.
The
Let me
birds
go
take her
ride
to
it.
it.
So I thought, oh, she'd been washed away to some distant destination, and now she's getting on this horse.
Oh.
And then the next scene,
No,
you
she's,
see
like,
that
right
she
below.
moved 10 feet
No,
away
she's
from
right
the
outside the
she's
castle.
right there. Like you could see from the window where she is.
You
Yeah.
could hit
Yeah,
her with an arrow, pretty
Yeah.
with a couple shots, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's
Wait, here she goes.
Oh, Ben's watching
She
like poop shoot. What?
slide down the chute.
Oh, it's
Pull it up here.
theme park
Oh
level.
my gosh.
Oh,
Okay, so
man.
she essentially rides the horse, gets to a spooky part of the woods. The horse gets stuck in mud, and sadly,
Whoa.
she's like, "Peace, bitch," and just leaves it.
You skipped
Does
the
the
part,
horse
though, Emily.
die? We don't really see
What
it.
did I skip?
She-
Well, I had to
She
skip
wa-
some
she
parts.
she wa- she walks to the town, and it's the Children of the Corn situation,
Oh,
where there's all
yes.
these little
I
creepy
did
people
skip
going,
that because I was like, yeah.
and then
Yeah,
she
But it
rides
doesn't
off, and
matter.
It never
Town,
matters.
and everyone
It doesn't
just
matter
It
at all.
stares at her, and then she rides away. And
Doesn't
you're
mean
like, why?
anything.
It was so
Yeah.
creepy, though.
Yeah, no,
did-
100%.
That was definitely out of a different movie. That was not this movie.
A lot of these
Okay,
scenes, they just sort of continue
Yeah.
to where it's like, and I'm all about dwelling in the moment and building the world and sort of,
This,
but
Did you talk about a
her
Roddy
being
Shadow
creepy
fact?
to these people
yeah, she just
doesn't
got
make
out
any
on the
sense.
beach.
So then she
And it's
goes to
not
the fire.
relevant.
I wrote the Fire Swamp, aka the Dead Marshes, where
Yep.
she
Yeah.
passes into two other movies, The Princess
Mhm.
Bride
Yeah.
and The Lord of the Rings.
Yep,
And then
Yep.
she's attacked by a Dementor, which
Yep.
just
That does come
came out of nowhere.
She
So,
stumbles
yeah,
through
she stumbles and she
mushrooms
gets
like
high
6 times
as
in a
shit
row.
on
Yeah.
mushrooms. Okay, so she's
Yeah,
high
It
as
just
shit.
keeps going.
And it's like
And
it
dead
just-
birds, wraiths, bugs, ooze. Like she's freaking out. She essentially passes out, falls down, all that crap.
And then it cuts to a scene with Charlize Theron being vaguely evil, and then it goes
She's-
back to
yeah.
Snow White, and she falls through
She's still
mushrooms
doing drugs.
again.
Yeah.
She's
And
a
now
hot
there's
mess.
like snakes on her, and like it just goes on and
doesn't.
on and on. It goes forever.
We cut to the queen. She's losing her shit on the brother, right? And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, yeah, she went in the dark forest. We tried to chase her. And the best part, she's like, I don't have powers in the dark forest. And you're like,
And
how
she looks right into the
fucking
camera and goes,
convenient,
I
bitch."
can't. It can't be me.
Yeah,
I can't go
yeah,
do
it's
this
very
right now.
like,
I'm sorry.
hey, Charlize, I know it's the end of the day. We need this
I
3
need
second
you to
clip.
just-
I
Yeah.
need you
Like-
to say, I don't have powers in the dark forest.
Yeah, right.
And she's
Explain
sort of
to
like,
the
you know,
audience why you can't do this. Yeah.
she pulls her cigarette off screen and says, I don't have
I don't have
powers in the
powers.
dark forest. And then
Yeah, do something
exhales,
about that.
right? She's going home.
Thank
It's
goodness,
so
because
crazy.
what other way could you show
So-
us that she's powerless there other than telling this directly?
Right. And so then she's like, you need to find someone to hunt her. Okay. So we find out later the brother could have been the person. He's the best guy ever because he tracks people like it's his fucking job, like 24/7.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we cut to Chris.
Let's get this drunk guy.
And he's in the mud. He's getting kicked out of a bar. He's drunk, blah, blah, blah. Like, all
Again,
this
you've
crap.
seen this scene before. You've
We
seen
all
it.
know it.
He's
He
a
goes to
washed
the
up
queen.
old.
She's like, you're going to do this for me. He says, no, I'm not. Blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. Essentially, she says, I will bring back your dead wife if you go get her. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. Because he's been drunk since his wife died. But baby, we know all that, the story. This is picture number 5, Ben. As you come
Back
by.
just
We get
in
it- we get a-
time.
A huge exposition dump, though, where she's just like, remember when your wife died and how all of this worked and how I'm going to
Yeah.
bring her
Oh, yeah.
back? It was like,
She explains his backstory to his
Yeah.
To him.
character in the movie.
Which is
as
so...
she might as well.
Love
But
that.
even...
Beautiful.
So dumb. So we cut to the Huntsman's in the swamp with the brother and the guards, which I'm like, why did we get him to get back to where we were? I don't
Yeah.
like.
Well, and the best part is she's still passed out in the same
she's
mushroom
the
patch
same
she was in
place,
last
so
time.
he did nothing.
Again, I
How
think it's
much
a
time has
third
passed?
scene of her like, oh my god, the dirt's alive, and the ants
And
are
then
on her or some
she's
shit.
done.
And
Like, did she pass out and fall asleep and it's
I
12 hours
guess.
later? Is it 2 hours
I
later?
mean, enough for
like,
the brother
they-
to go back to the castle, get Chris,
I
find
really
him,
got
talk
the
to
im-
the queen, get back there.
Well, yeah,
Sober
I
him
got the
up, yeah.
impression they had to like dig him out of a gutter and
Yeah.
sober him up, and it's
You would
been like
think it
a
would be-
day.
Yeah,
right, you'd think it would be a week, and it's like 12 hours
I
later,
don't. Yeah,
right?
I'm not.
They're
quite
all
sure.
just
Was
in
she
the forest
passed out
all of a
for that
sudden.
long?
I guess those mushrooms got
Yeah.
right.
Every scene with her inhaling the gas is from Batman Begins, where Scarecrow sprays him with the
Yep,
stuff
sure.
that
Yeah.
gives him the
Yep.
fear venom. It's the
That sounds about
same
right.
same special effects.
They
Yep.
just took
Yeah.
a scene. Every scene
And
is
again-
taken
Is
from
like
a
that,
popular
you're
It's
so
movie
from a
right.
from
different movie. Yeah, from the past 10,
It
15
looks
years.
good. It's a
Yeah.
very
It looks good, but
convincing
there's
dark
no
forest,
story.
and it
If it made
doesn't matter
sense, it would've been a
because they
great
just walk
Like-
out of the forest.
Joe wrote, didn't Elizabeth Swann drown in that dress in the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh.
Exactly. So when she
Exactly.
jumped in the
Yes.
water, she would just sunk to the bottom. I totally agree. Okay,
The
Chris
waves would've
essentially
killed her.
follows
Oh, sorry.
footsteps, and he finds her, pulls her out of where she's hidden, and she says, oh wait, he says once he finds her, because the brothers and the guards come up, and he's like, hold on, what are you gonna do with her? Which is like, well, why'd you do this? If
Why are you asking now?
You're gonna hand her over, duh. He puts the axe up to her neck, like, oh, I'll kill her, blah blah blah. The stupid brother, this is so dumb. He's like, you're an idiot. My sister can't bring people back from the dead, you fool. Why would you think this? And you're like, why would you tell him? Why would you tell him?
Well, I wrote, he's a terrible negotiator. Why would he tell him can't bring back your wife?
When someone has a blade to the person's neck who you need, what are you talking? Why wouldn't you be like, yep, she'll do it?
I don't understand that. Why does he lead with the thing they've been lying to him about?
And it's not
what is
even
the
to the
purpose
point-
of that?
It's not even like they're at a breaking point. It is, he's like, what are you going to do with her? And he's like, you fucking idiot. And you're like, whoa, buddy, I don't think we need to tell the truth so fast. Like, I don't know. So Chris essentially starts attacking, killing everyone because, duh, someone just told him everything's a lie. AK, you shouldn't tell him that.
Thor gets this look on his face and is like, again, this happened to me again. Like this. Oh my gosh, another Tuesday, another witch promises to bring back my wife, and it was all a lie. Can you believe that this happened?
Oh my God.
You bring up a good point, though, when you say Thor, and we talked about how this came out the same year as the last Twilight movie, and the same year as the first Avengers.
The Avengers? Second?
This
First? I don't know.
felt like a side job for every actor in this movie except for Charlize Theron.
Well, considering his name is the Huntsman and nothing else.
He was cashing it in. What's her face doesn't know how to act yet. Like
Kristen Stewart.
you have half the cast from Jack the Giant Slayers here. And they're all
like Kevin Bacon the movie.
The entire cast of Jack the Giant Slayer plays the dwarfs later on.
What the fuck is that about? So glad that happened. Okay, so then Chris and Snow are arguing. Chris is like, whatever, I want to leave. This one I said he talks like a 1940s cartoon. I don't know what's happening with his accent. It is half English, half Australian, half... I don't know.
It's like in Tropic Thunder when Robert Downey Jr. is pretending to be an Australian guy, pretending to be the guy in the Vietnam War.
What it's like.
It's like 3 levels deep.
Yes.
Chris Hemsworth is trying to be an Australian guy, trying to be an English guy, and so it just comes out as a jumbled mess.
Weird. It is so weird. So he keeps asking though, like, who are you? Why do they want you? And she will not answer. And why wouldn't you just go, I'm the princess that they kept? What is the problem with telling that information? She will not answer. And she essentially says, I'll promise you a bunch of money if you bring me to the Duke. And she promises 100 gold. It's like, you don't have any fucking money, bitch.
Is
like,
that a lot of gold?
But you don't have money. You've been in prison for 12 years. Like, so what's going to happen when you get there? You're just hoping they see you?
My 3rd level party would get that as a quest reward. So, I mean, it's not that much.
That's true, but the Huntsman is, he's barely
drunk.
2nd level, so.
He needs some beer.
My gosh, yeah, that would make sense.
So then we cut to the Duke, which apparently was the guy who was the father to William. News to me. He's like, hey, where's William? Because he found out this news. William's being fucking Robin Hood in the woods. Okay.
Yeah, so
he's
it's
jumping on wagons.
straight out of Robin Hood. They just copied Robin Hood.
Lighting shit on fire. He is cool.
Which
William's
I'm
going
okay
crazy.
if you wanna make Robin Hood be in the same universe as Snow White.
That's fine.
Sure, that's fine. Especially because he ultimately is not the love interest of Snow White.
He's essentially no one. I don't know why he's even in here.
He's got no setup. He's got
He's got no...
But
Again, paper thin.
I think he was just shooting fire arrows at random because the whole scene is on fire like 30 seconds into it. It's just it's the mountain of doom out here, and it's erupting, and there's just
it's called subtlety.
And also, I don't know if he like took something from that horse and carriage or just let everyone know.
I don't remember. Yeah,
Killing people,
Nobody,
were
yeah.
they the
nobody said
bad
it.
guys? Is he the bad guy?
So he gets back in town. He hears about Snow is still alive, and he is like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go find her right away." And you're like, "It's been 12 years. Do you even remember her? Know her? What do you mean?
Also,
you still are
I'm sure
like,
you
I
guys
gotta get out
talked
of
about
here."
this. We saw like 10 seconds of this kid in the beginning
Oh.
of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
And
not a
we
character.
have not seen or heard from him since.
yeah.
He's barely in the movie up till
But
now.
he acts like his life is dependent on if
This is
she
it.
is alive. This is it.
I'm
right
ready to die. Yeah.
Here. Ready to die. Okay, so Chris and Snow are about to cross a bridge out of the dark forest. Here we go. We all know a giant troll pops up. It's a bridge and a troll. Ken informed us the bridge is the troll.
We're,
Or
now
the
at this
troll
point, I'm
is
just
the bridge,
streaming the
I
Robin
should
Hood
say.
2018
Wait,
movie.
stop it. You bitch.
With the
That
one with
was
Russell
like-
Crowe or the one
no,
with
the one with
No, the
the
one
we
other one
watched.
that we did
the
with
one we
With
saw?
Jamie Foxx.
The
what's his
weird like
name?
Star
Yes,
Wars
Jamie
one?
Foxx.
I like
He
that
have
one.
like a hand.
Yeah.
I did like that one.
That was
With,
better than this. Okay, so the troll's trying to kill
well.
them. The troll hits Chris. He's down. He's about to kill him, and she yells
Doesn't
at the
matter.
troll. The troll yells back, which
Oh,
you're like,
that's right.
oh, she
Yeah.
has something with. Which I'm like, is he an animal? I don't like.
I want to stop here.
Yeah.
And we have to spoil this a little bit. So we find out later that the animals that have been helping her, specifically 2 birds, 1 horse at this point, I think,
Two birds, one
have
like that phrase. Two
Have-
birds, one horn.
Sitcom.
they have
It's a great sitcom.
they have fairies in them.
Well, I mean, I
Right?
guess
That's revealed
yeah,
later.
They do, yeah, that's creepy as fuck.
That's when
but
we get
Which
to the Fae
it
realm.
is.
We find
It
that
is.
out.
And we're gonna
I didn't enjoy
roast
that.
how they handle fairies and animals. I didn't enjoy it
How
either.
about how they handle
But-
planar
like it.
travel?
Can you go the
I
I
didn't
mean,
even cast
who
spells.
hasn't
So
done
go
my
planar
gosh.
travel?
Wait,
My
you're
point
leaving?
is-
Where are we?
I just
We're
have to
like-
go to the bathroom really quick.
1/3 of the way in.
Yeah.
My
Blaming Aaron
my
gets shot
point
into a
We're
house.
about to do that. I have to go to the bathroom.
my point is she's able to stop this troll with her sort of fairness,
whispering.
if you will. Right. She troll whispers.
I don't
And-
like that. I hate that.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay
doesn't
with
make
it
any-
because she's sort of Mother Nature.
You
But
can
what
only
I'm
kill
getting
trolls
at
with
is
fire.
but later what's the word? They make this scene not make sense because the animals that are helping her have fairies in them.
This
Which
scene is from a
means-
different movie. They filmed this scene.
Oh, the
and then
fairy
they-
scene? Totally
no,
different.
The troll scene. They filmed this
You
scene.
think the tr-
Then they filmed the rest of the movie and were like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with the troll scene? We still got to put it back in." And they just slapped it in the middle of the movie for absolutely no reason.
There's no
It, like-
again, no reason for it to be there. It doesn't prove that Chris Hemsworth can, handle a fight. It doesn't prove that Snow White can do this
Good or
again
anything.
because she doesn't do it again. It's
Well,
not like she stops a big
And she
crystal
hasn't-
monster later.
She hasn't earned this at all. She has never
No.
done anything before
Well-
this to prove that in a moment of crisis, her fair heart
You're right.
can stop a troll. I would love if they had hinted at this in some way before this scene so that when it happens, you feel it's deserved in some way instead of
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
like,
I'm so glad you said that. Yes, thank you. So I have a big issue with how they handle her being the hero in this movie because it's undeserved. She's underdeveloped, and her powers are very obscure because they put fairies in, and sometimes the fairies are doing it obscure.
But they don't pay it off. She doesn't use
so-
the troll to destroy the castle later.
Right,
Nothing happens.
So-
the trolls aren't important.
So I'm okay with this scene if it proves that she has some sort of connection to like creatures or the
Yeah.
earth or the stuff that's going on around them that are not it doesn't involve humans. But they haven't set it up and it doesn't pay off, so what's the point? On the flip side, if she's in prison, all you have to do to show that she's fair, like 30 minutes ago, have her have this little piece of cheese or little piece of bread,
Yeah, like
have a
gives it to
mouse
an
come
animal
in.
instead of her.
She
We
gives
we
it to the
actually
bird in the
see the scene where
window.
Yes.
the birds made that dress that she wears, right?
Right.
Instead of having
No,
to
you just,
guess.
well, she gets the gruel and the bread, right? And so
Right.
she divvies
Makes
up the
me like
bread
she gives
amongst
it
the
up to
mice.
someone else. Yeah, she's
And
like
then you
nicer.
show that the mice take the bread over to the other girl that got turned into a old bitch.
Yeah.
And so Snow White has powers before this, and
No,
she's
she's-
She sings a
fair
quick
and
song. She
good
sings a quick
and
song, a quick exposition song,
kids were-
explains the whole thing to us. Yeah, and
Yeah,
and
why-
then
here I
we're
am,
It's
these
amazing.
are my powers. Yeah.
I use
Right.
them for good. Yeah, this could be easy. My gosh.
Instead, she
Oh my
was
gosh.
like,
No, I
she
thi-
the one
She's
time she had a
nothing.
chance to be nice to somebody, she was like, "Oh yuck, you're old," and she left.
That is true.
Damn bitch.
Well,
And throws the keys
yeah, she
into
was
the
like,
cage.
"Ugh," when that's about it. So, okay, after the troll interaction, they find a village of women who have cut their faces.
Do they
Picture
kill the
number
troll?
7,
I'm
Ben.
sorry.
No, the troll just walks away.
No, he goes back to being the bridge.
They yell at each other, and the troll just goes away. And that's it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
He,
So
Yeah.
they
All right.
find
We
the
got. We
village of
gotta
women.
move. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
Picture
shut
number
up.
7, Ben. They cut their faces so the queen doesn't want to take their beauty. So this is when you're like, so I guess it's just physical. Like, and this is not, I put a gash in my face. This is like, you're like, beep,
This is.
little, like, I want to be like,
I
I have
want-
just
more,
like Mortal
I have
Engines.
more
Hey.
I'm
natural,
hideous.
like,
Yeah.
I'm so
shit
hideous.
going
I have to
on
wear
to-
a
Oh.
mask.
if you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look, I
But-
got a little something here, and that's about it.
Oh, I was gonna say. I think there's one lady who got the insane clown posse treatment, and she went double like
She's
knives
the-
down
she's
the.
the first lady, and
But
then they were
again-
like, we don't need to do that much.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Whoa, I just
Like
meant
just
a
cut
little
me up a
here.
little bit.
No.
Like,
Oh,
trim-
watch,
Trim a little off my earlobe. Why don't
Because-
you?
watching it,
So
I was
they
like,
show them
what
the
is she
girls.
talking about?
It's
What?
like
Yeah, like what?
if you just had like a little like boop, and then apparently the queen is like, I don't like you. Which why wouldn't everyone just do that then?
Well,
I don't-
and not to be.
What?
Here's the problem with. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, they say the men are all gone, and I was like, oh, I wonder where that's
did
leading.
They say that? I
And
don't remember that.
yeah, and that doesn't ever come
Doesn't
up
matter.
again. They literally don't
Doesn't
talk
matter.
about it. It's just,
Are the
Was
men?
it like were the
Are
men
the
just
men
like, I don't
gone
wanna
because
deal with
this is a village of the ugliest women I've ever seen in my
Fucking
life, or what?
sick bitch. Like,
Like-
were they like, I gotta get the fuck out of here?
Holy shit, we're out of here.
Everyone
Yeah,
in town
y'all
is
are
fucking
nasty.
100 after the queen deals with them, so I don't know what.
minor facial
Right.
scars were enough to get all the men to leave forever. They're all just gone.
Right.
So this
But
is
they must have
Like-
left recently because there's little girls, so they didn't go that long ago.
But this is when
You
you're
know-
like, so it's just a physical thing. Like, this is purely like, you're not a supermodel? I don't know what
Oh,
we're going at.
That's what I was gonna say. Is if you're gonna say it's purely a physical thing, listen, Kristen Stewart is beautiful. No one's gonna deny that.
Of
But
course.
maybe her teeth are a little big.
But you
Maybe
know
I
who
can
else
say
is
that her
beautiful?
ear's a little
The
wonky.
fucking queen.
Charlize Theron?
Is a fucking the most gorgeous bitch we've ever seen. So you cannot tell me that she's like, oh my god, Kristen Stewart. Like, no, you. Are you kidding me? Pick a different actress then if you want that.
It's like
If Charlize
I'm trying to
Theron
think
was,
of a
was
rhyme,
Snow
like
White, this would have made so much sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
sure.
I would have been like,
I'm
yep,
Sure.
I
That makes
get it.
sense.
Well,
she is
I
the most
get it.
fucking beautiful bitch
You're
you've ever
totally
seen.
you're totally right. You have to have a queen who can convey the jealousy.
I mean, I'm
And
sorry,
Charlize
but
Theron
you can't pick someone
can't
who looks like a
convey
goddamn
jealousy.
angel, and then you're like, "Am I not the most
Right.
beautiful?" Well, what?
Right.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Not to mention when they show
Yep.
Kristen Stewart, she's like greasy and shit in her little cave, and you're like,
Oh, she's dirty the whole damn
so,
movie.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Gowned
why
her
we're
up.
like, she's
That's-
the runner-up.
that's
I
why
don't-
You have to show that she has the fair of
Something
heart. You have
Yes.
to you have to show a scene
Right.
where she helps an injured rabbit.
Her
Or,
beauty is
you know,
more
the
than
super
external.
gross-
Yes. It needs to not just be physical.
The like we're not there yet, but I'm gonna spoil it. The super gross brother gets killed. The bad
Yeah.
guy brother.
Yeah.
You have to have her spare him, right? You have to have her hold back the Huntsman from killing him
Yeah, like
and say, you know
to
what?
show
No.
exactly. I totally agree with that.
Like-
But they don't do that, so don't worry about
Nope.
everyone.
He
Joe,
gets
if Charlize
impaled on
Theron was from
roots.
Monster, I'd still pick her.
Right.
She still looks better than me
And
on an average day. Okay,
There's
so
multiple
we're gonna.
there's multiple scenes in this movie where they like age her up and make her look air quotes gross, and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
damn,
Still doesn't
that's the
work.
hottest 70-year-old woman I've ever seen.
Right.
Do you know how hard that is to go? Oh, is she supposed to look old right now? And I'm like, she looks better than me.
Right,
I'm
I
a
can't
fucking
tell.
regular.
I can't,
like,
when she
didn't-
sucks the life out of people and supposedly gets younger, I was like, did she change at all? Like,
Okay, I guess.
it looks like from when,
I don't know.
maybe I took a shower. I'm still not to her point.
Right,
Like,
right.
are we so great? Thank you. I'm so glad that my
Well,
regular
didn't,
good day is her shittiest day of her
Right.
fucking life. Like, okay.
Didn't who said Monster? Didn't that movie get
Joe.
an award for makeup? Because
Yes.
it's like, good job, you
She
made
was fucking
Charlize
ugly,
Theron
as someone
scary.
said.
all right, I'm on the hunt.
It doesn't
Someone was
help
like,
that they also
"Whoa,
give her
she
extremely
was fucking sick in that.
they give her extremely attractive outfits too. Like Kristen Stewart is wearing
yeah, I mean,
rags,
she's-
and
Well, she's
Charlize
wearing
Theron
that,
has
weird poofy shit.
The puffy
fancy
thing.
shoulder
Yeah.
pads and like
What's her
actual
name is,
dresses
like, a
and
cut,
stuff.
like nice, like I'm going
Yeah.
to a ball.
Yeah, she's
exactly.
she's on the red carpet because she's just standing in that tower continuously, like
At one
turning
point, Taylor
crows
walked in,
into nice dresses.
Mhm.
and she was wearing a dress that Taylor was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "I don't know how to explain this. It's really complicated."
This is a D list.
yeah, yeah.
I need you to,
Sorry.
I need you to understand that this scene does not matter. I need
Yeah,
you
right.
to understand that.
Right. I need
This
you
is
to
I'm watching
irrelevant.
the
Oh my
story,
gosh.
okay? Yeah.
So they get to the
Ah.
village, though. Essentially, someone in the village is like, "Do you not know who she is?" to Chris, and because he cannot figure this shit out. They tell him it's the princess. He's
How did they
pissed. I don't know. He's so angry for some reason.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And he essentially is like, "Peace out. I'm getting out of here." I don't know why
know?
you're
It's because
Runs
he's
away.
angry at
but whatever.
himself. He
Yeah, but-
doesn't think he can protect her. Everything he touches goes to ruin.
Why would you want to protect her? Who cares about her? You don't know her. She's
Right.
nothing. I don't. Okay. She's
This is
hanging
the-
out with the village. A flaming arrow comes
Again,
in at
this-
night, shoots a house. Everything's on fire. What's new? The
Whole
brother,
thing goes on way too long.
Yeah, the brother
is
though is
half
the
an
best
hour.
fucking tracker ever. He
Yeah,
lights
why
that
did they ever
fucking
hire the
village on fire.
Huntsman?
You don't need the huntsman. You just need the
This
brother.
dude can track them literally
He can track a
anywhere.
tracker.
And
He
this
is
is
the
step
best.
Yep.
one of his amazing. It only goes up from here. This is the beginning of what this guy
I don't
can
know
do.
why, but also
Yeah.
I
William
think I
pretends
wrote,
to be
why
one
would
of the
you-
hunters.
That's true.
William's here. He's just
Sure,
here. And
yeah.
He is an archer.
You're totally
That's
right.
important, I
That's
guess.
a tiny sentence.
I guess.
in here, that's right.
It's
No,
important because
that
it
is
happens
true.
a couple times.
He does.
And
He pretends to be a bad guy to then find her. So he
But again,
is at this
William-
area shooting up, but he's also shooting the bad guys, like during this time.
we
and
know
stuff.
nothing about William other than he was in the first
He's a
30 seconds
saint?
played by a child.
I don't know.
Like there's no, and you
And
don't
And
get
that's
any
all
more than
we'll
that.
ever know.
So during
Yeah,
this time,
yeah.
though, Chris sees the village is on fire. He turns back because I guess he likes Snow White. I'd be like, okay, like I don't. Who can? You.
Well, she's
talked
the
to
only
her
one
for,
without
like,
a
2
scar,
hours.
so
Mm.
she doesn't have a scar.
So then we get back to the queen. The queen is looking skinny and old. Time for a milk bath. Okay. She thinks back to a memory of her mom telling her like her beauty is all she has, all this shit about being the fairest and stuff like that. Okay, cut to Chris and Snow White get away, and then some people attack them and start punching them. Okay, I didn't know what the fuck I was writing. The dwarves catch them. Okay.
Oh yeah, just
It's
speed
like-
through this. I
Sometimes
mean,
I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I wrote down for a second.
Well,
No,
oh,
I
look
mean,
at the
this mo-
dwarves. Oh,
The
they get
dwarves
caught in
catch
nets
'em.
and stuff.
You find them hanging upside
This-
down, and they're like caught in their
Whatever.
trap. This is picture number 8, Ben.
Okay.
And this is
Okay.
where the director told the dwarves do whatever type of accent you want as long as it's not your normal voice, and they just speak in
Yep.
random
I
accents.
cannot. I
Yep.
cannot understand them.
although
cannot.
I'll give them
Oh,
two major pluses for me. first of all, better than the dwarves in the Hobbit movie,
Kinda, yeah.
like by a
Oh, Hobbit,
landslide.
Yeah.
By a landslide. Yeah, but
I
in
don't know
terms
how
of
they-
makeup and
I don't
stuff,
know how they did this so good
Oh, yeah.
because it's
That's
not
fair.
people who are short.
Yeah,
people.
right.
I
that's
don't,
what
I'm
I'm
sorry.
getting
I
at.
don't have the
They
correct term.
shot this. They're not little people or short
Little
people.
people.
They're
Which also, why
actors
didn't
you
just
know.
get little people? I don't.
Why didn't you
I have
just get
no
them?
idea.
Just get
Yeah.
them. But
But-
whatever.
But
What?
dwarves aren't really like fantasy dwarves. Don't really have the proportions.
You know, I'm sure the little
Sure.
people who are trying to be actors
Yeah.
would go, I bet they would do. I bet it would be fine. You want
Well,
regular actors over
I don't-
someone who's trying
Peter
to be
I'm
Chris
gonna
Dinklage?
agree with you.
Hemsworth
Peter
does
Dinklage
not
was
have
here,
the
I would-
actual proportions of Thor.
Yeah.
How about that?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't have complained if Peter Dinklage was in this scene, though. I wouldn't have been like,
That's what I
actually,
mean.
get him
Yeah,
out of
Why
here for
wouldn't you?
a Ian
Exactly.
McShane proportion down a little bit.
You're right. You're right.
I mean,
So that's part one. On the other hand, throughout this entire movie, they used a lot of really successful trick photography
Yeah,
to make these guys
Yeah.
look like dwarves.
yeah.
was-
It
it
was.
was-
I
Like
was trying to figure it out.
It's
I couldn't
very
figure it out.
convincing.
I could
Yep.
never figure
With
it
the
out.
with the exception of the one guy who's like bald, except for the Friar Tuck thing, and then he has
That's
like a
Craw.
gross
That's
ass
Craw.
wisp of hair
that's correct.
from Jack the Giant Slayer.
Yes.
Um,
Right away, I was like,
it-
oh my
it's
God.
just
Craw's
obviously
here.
a wig. It's just
Yes.
obviously a
It's like
skin
weirdly.
piece over his head. But the rest of them, the king from Jack the Giant Slayer is
Oh, they
also
look
a dwarf.
Legit dwarf. Like, I
He
don't,
looks
Ian
great.
McShane.
It's
Ian McShane.
100%.
I couldn't
Yeah.
figure it out.
I don't know how they.
100%
I don't know.
sold.
That was good. So that was good.
I,
But it's like they put everything into that, and then they're like, "But you guys don't worry about talking. You don't have to talk. You don't have lines."
Also, the
You
dwarves
just
don't
gotta-
matter.
Yeah, no,
Say gibberish into the camera.
I couldn't
Yep.
fucking understand them. I'm
Right.
sorry. There's one of them that's
Oh,
like,
Ben's about to barf.
I can't.
Watch out.
I just no, but you're right. Like they would talk, and Emily would be like, "What did they say?" And
didn't
I was like,
know.
I didn't even try to figure it out. Like I
figure
don't
It
it
know.
out.
doesn't matter.
You said
I could hear
you
like,
said
doesn't matter.
It was actually
That's what
it
it
was
sounded
inconsistent volume and weird
Yeah.
random sounds that they
and
made.
every
I
now and then
couldn't
they would be
keep up.
like, "Die, ba 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 ba," like little words that you're like, I don't. Is
Yeah.
this like a key thing? I honestly could not understand them. The way they're like accent. I don't know what the hell is going on. They know
it
she's a
doesn't matter.
princess right away. All this shit. One of them, of course, there's like a blind one who's like, she's of the blood. The blind one is I'm
Right.
sorry,
He
but
very
fucking
yeah,
annoying. Okay. So he says
Yeah.
she's destined to end the darkness, all this crap. So the guards and the brother, fucking the best trackers on earth, they're coming. Okay, they can
Right.
hear him coming.
They found
Yeah.
him again.
So they take frickin' Frack into a cave. Okay, and then immediately they're in like a sanctuary of fairies and dust and.
Oh
all
man,
this
they
crap.
walk through a cave and they're in a different universe.
Which you're like, couldn't
Are
they
you-
just walk through the cave? I don't.
And it's not just that it's different from Earth.
Oh,
It's
totally
all
different.
CGI.
It
They
is like
walked into
the
a
mushrooms
green
have
room.
faces. The snakes are like
Right.
half. Like I don't. It's totally different.
Like snakes are
100%.
kissing,
Yeah.
and there's like a mouse riding a cat. Like
I
it's
wrote
off the
horrifying
rails.
Just absolutely
the-
terrifying. Just
The fairies
oh
are
my gosh.
terrifying. I have a big
It-
problem with the fairies.
Have-
I wrote
have you
that
seen
down when
Galaxy
that time
Quest?
comes.
Did you
Oh,
see
well,
Galaxy Quest? It's
I
the
mean-
little monsters from Galaxy Quest.
Yes.
They talk about
Yes.
mining the
Yep.
I
But
don't.
they
enjoy them.
walk through this green screen room for again 5 minutes of just walking, trying to make it look pretty,
But
and
also,
But this
I
is
didn't
important
understand,
because-
can no one else go through that cave? Like
I
they
don't
were, like,
know.
come through the cave,
See-
and I'm like, couldn't
see,
they just come
because
through
the
the cave?
brother follows them in.
No. What?
Well,
no,
the
no,
brother
what you
gets
don't
there.
No,
understand-
you are right.
You guys
are
are-
right. Yeah.
Wait, I
You
need
guys
to
are
hear
missing
what
the
Phil
point.
has to say.
Wait.
Sorry,
This is
sorry.
Narnia.
knows
This
more
is
than
Narnia
us.
because They go to
Yeah.
see
That's true.
Aslan at the giant fountain, and they just have to pass the lamppost and go through the wardrobe, and it takes them right to Narnia. It's
Someone
just
was like,
another
"I
scene
love
they ripped off
Narnia."
from
Yeah,
another movie. Yeah, they were
man,
Yeah.
like,
that's
"Does
so
it
Well,
make
true.
sense in our movie? Not really, but let's just make it happen." And because
I
none of
bet
this
that'd be a
matters
cool
either. This whole
scene.
scene doesn't make a
this
difference.
whole scene is irrelevant. They could have
They don't
hidden that
bring
cave for 30 seconds and then come right back out.
You
they
guys
don't bring
You
don't
don't
dig
need
into
the
this
scene.
too
back.
much because when Phil's playing in my D&D game and suddenly when they meet 7 dwarves and walk into a cave and are in the Fey realm, he's going to connect
Actually,
the
they
dots.
met
Okay,
8
but
dwarves.
I didn't
Little
know
spoiler.
if the dwarves were supposed to be. Were they supposed to be like the same, like dopey and happy and I don't know. I
Yeah,
couldn't figure
but
it out.
uh,
But whatever.
again, I will give them all the credit in the world for
mean,
not
they
having a
looked great.
scene where Kristen Stewart says, "Oh, you're kind of dopey and you're kind of sassy and you're right." They don't name the
Your
dwarves.
body
Thank
is,
Ken,
yeah,
God.
goofy.
They didn't
yeah, that is
write
true.
lines for Kristen
That's-
Stewart.
Yeah,
Don't
she
forget. They
honestly
doesn't
never
probably
wrote a
has,
speak
like,
script.
in
10
this
lines.
movie.
Again,
She
I'm
does
so
not
curious. Ben,
speak.
can you look up how many lines she has in this
Sure.
movie? You're
Again-
a detective when it comes to this.
I think
I bet it's
they-
less than 100 words.
Oh, it
They
has
had
to
a-
be
they
like
made a
10
garlic
lines, like nothing.
they made a garlic smoothie in the other room and brought it on set, and then she's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just sort of
That's about
smells
it.
it for the remainder of
they
the
were
She
like,
movie
"You
and
just
doesn't
kind of
sound
say anything.
happy," and she's like-
winces.
Yeah, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
That's
we're
about it.
rolling. You just
Yeah.
keep smelling it. That's
They were like,
perfect."
keep going,
Oh.
keep going.
Here's why I don't like the fairies. So the 2 birds that helped her get out of the castle and find
Yeah.
the horse show up. They land, they chirp at her. We sort of
Did you
like
find it?
insinuate that she has some connection to
I
wildlife.
didn't find a real answer on answers.com. Somebody
Yeah?
said, how many lines did Kristen Stewart have in Snow White and the Huntsman? And the top voted answer is 10.
Yes.
That sounds
just-
about right.
That's what she has.
That sounds about right.
I don't think
She's
that's,
always like, "Does the drink make you well?"
it's
like,
just the
shit like
number
that,
10.
And that's it.
Right.
And you're like,
right.
okay, I guess that's it. He drinks a lot. Like that's she doesn't
Yeah.
say anything. Okay,
Snow White and the 7 lines.
we.
That's what it is.
do
Yeah.
The dwarves at night.
Yeah.
Okay, this part actually was longer, but the dwarves at night with Chris and Snow White and
Oh my
I-
God,
I
this
just
goes
wrote-
on forever.
I wrote she has no personality. I said the king dwarf, which I don't know what that means, is talking to Chris. I said I can't understand them. I think Chris has a crush on her, and that's all I wrote. I didn't. I
That's
could
it.
not.
It
figure
doesn't
out
matter.
anything
Keep
else.
going.
Okay, Snow
Oh,
White. Yeah. What? Sorry.
what I wanted to say, I'm sorry, because this is a sticking point for me. The
Yeah.
fairies are gross, but
So
more
fucking creepy.
importantly, the 2 birds that helped her before land in front of her, and out from their
Oh,
chest,
that's what I was about to get to. They like
Whoa.
2
burst out.
fairies. They don't kill the bird, but they like morph out of the bird,
Imagine if you
It's
just
the
walked
face
out of a
huggers from
bird's
Alien.
chest.
and they
Yep.
sort of
Someone watched
like
Alien, and they were like,
"Harumph,"
"Yeah, it'd be
and
great
they
if they
wink,
Exactly.
and they. And-
I wrote
but it-
they're smiling and creepy as F is what I
But it's a gross scene on a
What
lot
the
of levels.
fuck. The birds are like, hey, and then they're like, bleh, and they come out and you're like, nope. And then, but she's like, oh
But-
my God, fairies. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, wouldn't you be scared at that point?
well, there's no indication that there's like magic in this
Someone
world
just
other
fucking
than the
walked out of a
troll.
bird. Someone
Right.
walked out of a bird.
All
But-
that we've seen is like, oh, there's the witch, and then there's a troll, and now it's like, and everything in nature is controlled by
Everything.
these fairies who
Everything's
are
crazy.
horrifying. And
Which means her so-called powers don't mean anything. So the fairies have been working behind the scenes to get her the birds and to get her to the horse.
Which,
It
why?
just sort of like
Why?
deflates her more.
Yes.
I don't
and
have
you
a
sound
problem
pretty
with
pro
fairies.
witch. You're pretty pro queen here in this. This is like
I don't.
I don't don't know. I kind of don't mind her at this point.
I don't get why
There
anyone's
is
voting for
nothing-
Kristen Stewart. Okay,
I kind of like,
like
her
why don't
There's
we all
better
vote
than
for
nothing-
yeah. Like, I don't.
There's nothing in this
Pro
movie.
queen.
Sorry, I have been trying to figure out how many lines Kristen Stewart has in this movie, and I finally turned to Chat GPT. I've been having a very small conversation here, and it finally ended with, "It's clear you're not a fan of Snow White and the Huntsman, and that's totally valid. Not every movie resonates with everyone, and it's okay to have different opinions."
It's fine.
Stop ignoring the question and tell me how many lines of dialogue
That was
she
in
has.
response to, "Come on, man, you know it's not
Come
good."
on. I honestly think it's
I
like
like,
10
I
lines.
like that you managed to
Where
get
am I?
in a
Shit.
fight with
I
a
wasn't
bot
looking.
in the past like 90 seconds over how many lines
All right,
she
here I
has.
am.
We've been talking about this
I'm
for
just-
15 minutes.
My
Okay,
point is that
Okay.
Snow White doesn't even
He's a
exist
loser?
in this movie.
She's nothing.
She's
She's
not-
not. If someone could
She's
describe
not
her, you'd be
there
like,
at
nothing.
all.
she's not anything.
She
Could've
doesn't
just been called
say
And the
anything.
Huntsman.
She
Yes,
doesn't
it's
have
just
any
the Huntsman.
powers. She doesn't.
She doesn't do anything. Oh wait,
Ugh.
so
But she's got
she wakes up.
awesome armor in the third act, and I'm
But-
totally
Though. Oh my
on
god!
board
Just
for it.
hold up for that because
All right. She
So
looks
she-
great in
Just
that
wait, though,
armor.
just wait. She
Like
she-
so cool.
Stop
Third act,
it.
Snow White.
she wakes up.
Costume department.
She sees that fucking weird fairy like pop out of a bird, and she's like, "I should follow that." Which I don't know about that. Chris also follows. They're approaching a clearing. All this shit. What's new? Everyone could guess it's a giant stag with giant antlers, and all the birds are on his antler. Like all the
Could
shit.
we guess
Usual
that? What
crap.
made you guess
Yeah.
that?
I guessed that.
What made me guess that? Like any other fucking
I was like,
fairy
guess what?
movie
It's
in
gonna
my-
be a giant stag, and I'm living.
Oh,
and then
man.
there it was.
And I was like, let me guess a bird.
I thought it was gonna be
It was like, blip, 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 blip,
I thought it
like,
was going to be Liam Neeson, and he was going to be like, "Hello, Kristen
I'm
Stewart."
ready here, bitch.
Yeah, it's a.
Are you
need to kill the
ready to
witch
be
at the stone
taken?
Table. Yeah, kill the killer at the stone tablet.
So then,
I
then-
hear. I've
Yeah.
got a critique. The stag is standing on stones.
Yeah.
That if you pull up a still, the stag would have had to like jump from the grass onto
yeah.
the stones
Yeah.
and reposition itself.
You know
Like,
what?
it's like,
because she is
Look
so
at
fucking
me.
special.
I'm a
He's
big,
gonna do it
strong
for her.
boy.
How do you get
Yeah.
there?
He's
The
gonna do
dwarf
it for
say
her.
the dwarves say no one's ever seen this
Oh
before.
yeah, exactly.
What? Okay, what does
And
that
you're like-
mean? Why would you?
What is it?
Okay.
Hold
What is
on.
this line?
No one
What
has
am I
ever
looking
seen
at?
this before until
And then
No.
the greatest tracker of all time.
Shows
no,
up.
but they say she is life itself. She will heal the land. She is the one. She will lead. And then this is the blind guy. And I'd be like, fucking shut up, buddy.
That's
like,
Doc.
you
Dog.
just-
Don't you
Yeah,
see when he
take your
takes the
meds.
plague
Doc
mask
is a
off?
hot med. I
The
don't
black
like him.
plague
He's a mess.
doctor mask.
Okay, immediately, of course, she's like, I should pet him. Which, why? You're not? Anyway, someone shoots a stag. Guess what? It is a goddamn brother. He has tracked them again,
Guess who
man.
shows
Again.
up?
And he is the best tracker we've ever met.
But they
Okay.
they shoot the stag. What is even happening?
Why?
The stag
Things
turns
happen.
into a
Why?
million little butterflies. I don't know if that's good or bad. He does.
Right.
Okay.
And good
Everyone
news
starts
for you.
freaking out.
You don't have to know because it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter. Doesn't
matter
matter.
at all.
There's
It
fairies
never
are
comes up
angry.
again.
Everyone is freaking out. Chris is attacking the brother, all this shit. The brother is really good at fighting. He's really good at tracking.
Yeah,
He
like
essentially
weirdly
is
good
the
at.
best to the best of everything.
He also there's a
Um,
couple fights where he looks quite a bit larger than Chris Hemsworth
he
too,
beats
which
up
is
Chris
saying
Hemsworth.
something.
Which,
But like
right,
physically
and
taller,
yeah.
he looks like 6'8".
Oh my
He's like a
God,
big
can you
dude.
Look up how big the brother.
Do you
is?
think
Yeah.
that
Ben, look it up.
here's
Ben's
an
watching the movie. I
in-universe
can
theory
see it
though?
going.
When he got
Uh-oh.
sliced in the eye by Snow White,
Yeah.
he gets healed by the
By the
queen,
sister.
and
Yeah.
after that, his capabilities seem to go like to
Mm-hmm.
infinity. And
Sure, whenever
Sure,
the plot
but-
needs him to. But when he's completely
I don't think it's
incompetent
'cause
whenever
she
they
healed
don't.
him. I think it's just
He's just like a
he's
bumbling idiot. When
he's the best.
He was a clown prior to this, and now he's suddenly
Yeah.
like alpha. He's the Hulk. Like Chris
But-
Hemsworth cannot handle him
For this one scene.
for
That's the
this
only
one
part
scene.
that matters.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
There's something
I
about
wrote-
this stag getting hit by the arrow that just like
dumb.
looks
Triggered.
fake.
Stop.
I don't.
It's okay. Again, it's one of those scenes.
Well,
where,
it's
like,
a fake
the stag
arrow
is
and a fake
nature,
stag.
and you're like the stag
could
is
be it.
nature. It gets hit by humans, but it's also like, what is the meaning? Like, what is the meaning of
Right.
this? What are we doing?
Right.
And it's like it turns into a bunch of butterflies, and you're like, and then
Okay,
someone was
but-
like, and then as a scene, and you're like,
Well,
but
then
hold on.
we go to the next scene. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Right,
like,
right.
wait,
It's
wait,
not
wait,
like,
we had
what
oh,
that
we need to
mean?
heal nature. No, nature flew away.
I don't.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know what we're trying to say there. Okay, so I said, why is the brother so strong? He's beating Chris up. Okay, so then the brother starts talking about the wife, and he's like, your wife screamed your name and all this shit, and you're like, so
Oh,
you
yeah.
tortured
Why
and
did he
killed her?
kill
I
his
don't.
wife?
But why?
It doesn't make any
I don't
sense at all.
understand. So Chris essentially ramps him into a fucking stump, bitch, and he
Dude
stabs him.
dies,
So
and
I-
he deserved
When I
it.
looked at the picture, it's like 6 stabs.
Oh, he's-
like,
Yeah.
Boy,
it is- you are
Big
nuts
Dog
up.
got rooted.
Yeah.
Homeboy is toast.
He's
There's
done.
Have you guys-
no.
Have you guys seen Dale and Tucker versus Evil? Because this
No.
is that scene right out of that movie. Ah, well,
Is it?
Oh
Okay.
man.
can't
Okay,
watch
no, I
I
haven't.
believe you though.
But
I believe you
it's a good
because
one.
that's what
Yeah.
this movie does. Is it adopts scenes for its own.
absolutely.
So-
Yeah. We'll have to
I
watch
like
that
this-
one on the A-list.
I do sort of like this part though
on the
because he.
A-list.
What?
Dale and Tucker versus Evil is a fantastic movie,
That is
but
like-
we'll have to watch that another time.
I like this part because
whatever.
the brother calls out to Witch,
Charlize Theron. Yeah.
Oh,
And then
And-
she we
but
so-
she's like
Right.
writhing on the floor for
She
reasons
does.
unknown.
So during the scene, we also William
she's
falls
covered
off
in
his
oil,
horse,
I think?
and someone's about to attack William, and he's like, "It's me, William," which I'd be like, "Who?" If I haven't seen you in fucking 12 years.
Sorry.
Someone could tell me from 2 years ago, like, "It's me, Tyler," and I'd be like, "I don't know who the fuck you are." Like,
Ah, shit, Tyler, I can't pull back now.
like, sorry, but I don't know. Okay, but then yes, she is like freaking out on the floor and all this shit.
Ugh.
Brother dies. I guess some of her age goes away. I don't know.
I
They're
don't know.
messes. Okay, also during this,
Oh, she
Gus-
won't heal him. He calls out, says, heal
Right.
me,
Does
and she
he?
won't. Yeah.
because she can't because she hasn't absorbed Snow
But
White.
also,
but
I want to be like,
Is that what it
I don't
is?
know.
She couldn't.
She
It
wasn't
wasn't
strong enough.
totally
to.
clear.
Well,
Because the
what's
scene after this, she eats all the women in the room.
That is, yeah.
Well, that's
she
way
goes to
later,
town.
though.
Well, because remember when when we first see the mirror, she's the fairest in the land. But as soon as Snow White comes of age, the mirror tells her your powers are
can't,
waning. It's going to take. You're going to be drained more
Well,
and more for
also-
using your magic
It don't,
Oh,
like,
okay.
I don't know.
because
okay.
she's not the
All
fairest
right.
in the land anymore.
Which is
Oh, wait.
why to use her magic the next time she has to eat the whole room of.
Okay.
She
All right.
goes to town.
I'll buy that.
But Gus the dwarf during this, which we met him earlier. I didn't talk about it.
He's younger. It
He's a
doesn't
cool
matter.
one.
Gus Dan.
He gets
He
shot.
gets Boromired.
He dies.
He gets Boromired.
He
They had
dies.
a
Yeah.
whole Boromir death
R.I.P.
scene.
bitch. During his memorial,
It's just other movies.
yeah.
It is.
Okay,
It's-
so during his like memorial, whatever, William's there. No one has gone. No one has said, "Who the fuck is this guy? Where'd he come from? How come he was with the other group?" Like nothing. So no one
Right.
says anything. They're just it's
Oh.
no problem.
We forgot to talk. We forgot to talk about or maybe I was gone. The insane scene where William joins the brothers group. Did you guys
We
talk
skipped
about
yeah,
that?
we talked.
No,
about it. Well, a little bit, but
No.
I kind of skipped
30
it because
30 seconds. 30
Yeah.
seconds. William rides up to the creepy
He's-
brother, says,
he's
"Do
so
you
cool.
need an archer?" And the brother's like, piss off. And he signals to his archer. The archer shoots. William just like fucking Neos it and pulls another arrow and kills that dude.
I think
And then
I
he's
got
in the
like
party?
Matrix.
Oh, so
Yeah, he
no,
was
no,
like,
no. You
"Do
said
And then
need an
he's just
archer?"
in the
And you're like,
group?
Okay.
Ken, you're wrong. You said he rides up. William is waiting in that archway for who knows how long for them to ride up
Right.
to that.
Yeah,
Like,
he knew.
he's
Yeah.
been there for days, just sort of hoping somebody comes
But
by so he
again,
can
And
shoot
why
it's
your
do you
archer.
care? Can you
Nobody
imagine?
I want
everyone
more-
to name someone you've met 10 years ago and never seen again. I would go, I have no fucking
And
clue.
nobody I
Like-
want more on my right side than the dude who just killed who was on my right side and said, I want that spot. I trust that man. It's
Immediately.
bonkers.
You're gone.
Off the rails. Yeah.
Okay, we
Again.
cut to. This is my favorite scene. You ready? The
Ready.
queen
Yep.
is just in a dark room with bats flying around her. Okay, that's it.
Hell yeah.
That's it. There is
That's
no.
it.
There's no before
Great
or
scene.
after. She's just like,
Moving on.
and that's it. We move on. Okay, what does that mean? She's evil? What? Oh,
Was she?
That's it?
Ken, give us the reason why she's not the bad guy. Yeah, explain Ravenna
I'm kind of on her
2013.
side at this point because I don't.
I
agree anyone
cannot
else.
defend my client. We'd like to suggest a plea deal.
I don't know. Okay, so I guess it's winter now.
Okay, they don't they don't tell why she's surrounded.
Here
in
we go.
ravens.
Co-counsel
here we
will
go.
handle
It's
it.
bat-
But
is it ravens or
we
Yeah.
get to find out
Whatever.
later
Doesn't matter.
what she was doing.
What is she doing?
She was teleporting. She was plane walking
Is that what she's doing?
to where she has to, and
How
then
am I
she
supposed to know
disguises
that?
herself. She
Right.
she plane shifts.
Oh,
flies
is that what
to
that
there.
was?
Then she
Yeah.
casts disguise
News
self
to
when she
me.
gets there.
Wow.
Let's not
She
forget.
Well, she Voldemort's
to
a
me.
bit too, because
If
she
anybody's
does get a little
watching the
facial
stream here,
disfiguration.
God
here's
damn
the
you
spot,
guys.
right? There is the queen in disguise self.
We're not there yet, bitch.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, but
it's
she-
winter now.
Yeah.
Since it was summer 2 days ago. Okay, but they're walking in winter. Hold on, I missed a scene. I'm so sorry,
Uh-oh.
you guys. They Lord
It
of the
doesn't
Rings
matter.
it
Just keep going.
No, but they Lord of the Rings it across
yeah.
the
They
land.
do have
Across
some
the
really-
mountain. Okay. Yes,
do,
there's a
Really
woman being
cool
like,
shots. Again,
"Ah,"
great
and that's-
shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Where did they go to get those shots?
Fucking
From the Lord of the Rings
I don't
movie,
know.
they just saved money by
They
slicing in
probably
shots
took
of Lord of the
same
Rings.
scenes.
Yeah.
So
You can see Legolas and
At one
Gandalf.
point, William
Oh,
I-
that's who those were.
William's
I
talking.
would
to
not
her.
be surprised if they had a
Yeah,
conversation during the making of this
Yes.
movie where they're like, well, how many people were in the fellowship? Do we need
Yeah.
to kill a dwarf or two before
Like,
we
what if
get there
killed Gus?
so that the shots line up and we can just take
Yeah.
that footage directly?
How much would it cost us?
Going to the
Right.
theme of the movie, I thought she was going to heal Gus
No.
and like show her
I did too.
power with
I
respect
did
to
too.
nature. And
Yep.
she's just like,
Nope.
it's
Shit,
really
dog.
Okay,
somewhat
but
unfortunate
she
that
didn't
he
even
died.
comfort him when he's dead. She
Big ass
she
arrow in
wasn't
your
even
chest.
like, it's okay. I'm
I
here.
thought
She
for
sat there and she
sure
did that,
She was going to heal him. Yeah.
and she just did that
Doesn't
weird
happen.
like face shit, and you're like, is
She
that-
does
is
the
that all we're
stinky
doing
smell
for him?
face.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's a little- I thought you could
That's
if
it.
Gus had said, "I would have followed you to the end, my brother, my captain, my queen,"
Like
you would have
something.
been like, "Oh yeah, that's
Sure.
totally dialogue from this movie and also from Lord of the Rings." Like, there's
Nothing,
no
no.
reason
Yep.
Nothing.
why it happened like
was-
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they Lord the Rings across the land.
Yeah.
At one point, William's talking to her. Chris grabs her hand, and then Will looks pissed. Which are, again, I don't know why anyone likes her. She has no
Will has
personality.
never talked to her.
Will has not talked to her since he joined the pack. I
Not
guess.
one time.
Not in a decade.
And I think
Yeah.
Chris has talked to her maybe 3 times total.
But don't
So-
worry. If you're starting to think, I just wish Will and Snow White would talk.
Get
Here
ready.
it comes.
Get
They're
ready.
about to talk to. They're about
They're in winter.
to talk to each other.
Okay,
It is
Snow
winter,
White's
yeah.
walking with Will. They're talking. They're talking about when
Finally, they're
they're kids.
catching up.
She touches his face. They close
She makes
their
vague.
eyes.
He makes vague references
Okay.
to random things that may or may
Oh,
not have happened, and you're like,
exactly.
"Did this happen?"
Well, I do like how Snow
But-
White's like, it wasn't like that at all. We used to fight
she's
all the
kinda
like,
time. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, that was pretty good.
Oh, that's cool.
He
Yeah.
goes in for a
I like
creepy
that.
kiss. She pulls back. Okay. And then all of a sudden he's like, which is also weird to be like, you want an apple? I'd be like,
Remember?
okay.
He shoves that shit in her face so fast.
She
She-
eats the apple in the
she
most
eats it.
sensual way that I've ever seen anyone eat an
Thank you,
apple.
Phil. No,
my gosh.
she does.
Just
Hold on.
horrifying.
We're gonna.
Can you go get
If
an
you're
apple?
listening, so here's my headphones.
Apple?
She takes the apple and she kind of does this. And she goes,
Wow, the way you guys. I don't want.
and she kind of like
You
holds
guys
it.
are like, look at this.
Well, she bends down to kind of pull down her
I need to
shirt and
find
eat
this.
the
Hey,
apple,
It's-
and
yeah,
like,
you need
You
to
think
post
that's
that.
what it was?
I
The
don't know.
whole
It,
thing
I
was
think it's the
so
whole thing.
bizarre.
I think it's the whole.
I was so caught up by her holding the apple like this instead of like a sane
like
person
a normal person
and
just
holding it
being
and like, oh hell yeah, that's a good apple.
the only thing scarier
goes-
than that was the hairiness of the apple in the next scene, which
I didn't
immediately
see
made me
Yes.
gag. Oh,
Yeah.
ugh.
So
I lost my
immediately
headphone.
we find out the apple's poison. Okay.
And it turns super
Um,
hairy. It's extremely
Oh
hairy.
my god! Oh wait,
so
wait, wait! Here it is. Here it
Wait,
is.
Ben's doing it. Are you doing it on the thing? Okay, wait, hold on. I need to see this.
And the whole
Oh
apple
yeah, you're
thing,
right. She's like,
It's
It's
just like how
why
Ken
is she
did
like
it.
that?
she goes,
Yeah.
she does sort of like a scoop
She
and a,
sniffs the
But
oh,
then she-
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Oh, that's
like
weird.
she was
I don't like
sneezing
that.
into her hands. She goes,
Yes.
She like pulls it away and is like,
it's
she
so
So,
bizarre.
we
She's
find
like my
out
It's
friend.
so
poison.
bizarre.
And you're like, is fucking Will the bad guy? No, guess what? Will is hanging out with Chris. The queen was pretending to be Will, bitch. She's talking about the fairest blood. She's about to suck out her soul, all that shit. The boys come. She runs away and turns into 50 crows. Okay.
And then we get
Fucking
another
Snow?
disgusting scene of her Voldemorting across the floor. Oh my gosh. That
Oh
is
yeah, she like
so
lands
That's
in
true.
tar.
Yeah,
And-
she
and
does.
she,
She
like,
cars it
her,
up.
like,
I wrote
fe-
that down, but I just
look.
deleted it because
She,
I was like,
this lady is like an immortal lich.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
is infinitely powerful, and a couple
Somehow-
of randos with swords run up to her in the woods, and she doesn't fight them at all. She just crows
She's
away.
Yeah, she's casting 9th level spells
Well,
here.
it's
She's
also
got
like
at least
a
5
goddamn
9th level spell slots. Come on.
19-year-old is
Right?
heartbreaking.
She
I
couldn't. Exactly, Phil. Like she had to have something up her sleeve.
I don't know.
Instead,
Okay.
she just runs away.
Snow
It cost
is-
her a lot of spell slots to cast Gate again.
Shut
She could have
up.
just killed
Yeah,
those
gross.
guys.
And then she
Hold
splatters
on,
her
hold
crows
on.
across the floor.
Ken is doing it. Here we go. Here we go. And then sneeze. Yeah.
Wait,
Oh my god, so enticing.
Yuck.
Yep. And then you turn stiff as a fucking board because that's what she does. Oh my gosh.
And then
Ken
they
needs
talk
an
about how
Academy
dead she
Award.
is.
Here we go. So
they talk about
Chris-
extremely long about how dead she is.
Oh yeah.
Is she? They don't
Well,
ever make that
Chris
clear.
yells at the dwarves. They're
I
like,
don't know.
we can't help her.
Was
the,
she dead?
the blind one says, we can't do anything. Chris is sad, all this shit. Will's crying. Will kisses her, which you're like, okay. You haven't
Yeah,
seen her
don't
in
be a
10
creep.
years.
You
Stop
haven't
being a
talked.
fucking creep.
Remember, the only time he talked to her it wasn't him. So he
That's true.
actually never
He's
talked
never
to her, and then
talked
he
to her.
kissed her dead body, like a
Okay.
creep. Could you imagine?
Then we cut to the dwarves enter a random town holding Snow White's body. We find out it's like Will's dad's town, I guess, the Duke or whatever. But anyway, they're holding her. Everyone in town is sad, like they knew this was happening, which I don't. Wouldn't you be like, who the fuck is this girl? People are entering town and whatever. They put her body on display for a while. Okay. Then we cut to, I hate this. Chris is talking to her dead body. Oh wait, Ken. Chris is
This is from
talking to her
Hamlet.
dead body. This is where we are. Though.
This they Hamleted this. He gives her the
He
Hamlet
gives her the
monologue here.
spiel. But what I hate is it's like he talks about how much he likes her and you're like, why? I don't know why. So he says, you deserve better. I had a wife once. I wasn't worth saving. She wanted to save me. I loved her. I let her out of my sight. She was gone. I became a horrible person. You remind me of her, your heart, your spirit, which I want to be like, what? Like her wandering off in the morning?
She was mute. His wife
yeah.
was mute, and that's what he likes about Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Now you're gone too. You both deserve better. I failed you. And you're like, I'm sorry. I think you guys honestly talked 4 times max.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
And
know
most
what-
of it was in that weird forest when you were on mushrooms.
Yeah.
That was most of the dialogue.
So he leans in for a kiss to the dead body. Okay, she's been dead for a few days, I feel like.
She's pretty cold.
I don't know if we should be kissing the body at this point. I'm sorry.
Well,
He leads in
you
for
gotta
a
take what
kiss.
you can get.
Okay.
I guess.
When he leaves, guess what? She woke up, bitch. Okay.
Surprise, bitch.
So here's
Wait,
the
was
thing.
she dead or just sleeping? I don't.
It doesn't
She's
matter.
been-
Nobody
whatever.
cares.
She's been
She
dead
was
for a few
gone.
days. Okay. She
In-
walks out of the fucking castle. Everyone is like, "Oh look, it's snow."
Hold on.
Nobody seems surprised though. Okay, go Ken.
She's been dead for days. In
Yeah.
movie time, I think she was dead for 2.5 minutes. Yeah, somewhere between 30 seconds and 2.5 minutes.
They were like, look, the castle's around the
They
corner.
do the promenade from
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Menace. They walk her into the castle. They
That's
lay her on the thing.
Yep.
Chris's speech is the longest part of
Yep.
that entire thing, and then she's alive again.
Yeah.
It does not matter. It
Yeah.
has no bearing on what happened.
Chris cast revivify, or
Yeah.
revive dead or whatever, and now she's back.
Exactly.
Super easy.
But when she walks out, no one is like,
You know,
True
you-
resurrection.
people are just like, hey, guess what? I think she's gonna give a speech. So she
Oh,
walks
the
to
most
William, grabs his
unearned
hand,
speech.
and does the weirdest handshake ever, and he's just like, okay. Imagine if your friend just died. They woke up, came out, and shook your hand. I don't think you'd be like, okay, thanks, bud.
Hell yeah,
Like,
brother.
Okay, so she gives a speech, and immediately everybody's listening. She says, "We
Just-
must ride. We have rested long enough. All I've known is darkness." Which I'm gonna be like, "Shut up," but whatever. But now I see a bright light that burns in all of you. The embers must turn to flames, iron into sword. I will become your weapon.
Where
I
is
see
this
what she
coming
sees.
from?
I don't know. Do you
Where
see what
does
she
this
sees?
dialogue
And I
come
know what she
from?
knows. I can kill her. Will you ride with me? Will you be my brother? And everyone's like, yeah. And
I
I'd
was
be like,
who's her
I'm sorry.
brother? I don't.
Weren't you fucking dead 5 minutes? What are you
What
talking
are you
about?
talking about?
Also, this is the most the most
Yeah,
dialogue
this
she
is
has in the
her-
whole
This is
movie.
all.
This
Yeah.
30-second
This is
speech
it.
is just
By
all of
far.
her lines.
Is all she had to
Yeah.
remember.
Like by a mile.
Yeah.
I
It'd
wrote,
be
I'm
like- it'd be
embarrassed
like
and
the-
uncomfortable.
But like,
It'd be like if you started the Lord of the Rings and you just cut to Theoden's speech and we're like, "This is the start of the movie."
or just
We'll
just
hear him
cut
give
to
a speech.
Return of the
Doesn't make any
King,
sense.
where Aragorn
Yeah.
says for
He's like, here we
Frodo,
go. Yeah.
and then
Right.
runs off.
Right.
Like, just there's.
I don't-
She's talking about iron and shit that's
And
been
being-
reforged, and
I
the-
want to
the-
be
the-
your weapon. What does that even
there
What
are
are
mean?
you
references
talking
to
about?
things that do not exist in this world. I don't get it.
And it's not like before she's like, hey, guess what? We have the same vision or memories or like nothing.
And she doesn't have a brother. Why is she asking them to be her brother? What does
And
that
then
have to do
all
with
of a sudden
anything
she's
in
like,
this
I
whole
can
movie?
see what she sees. Yeah. You're like, what are you? I don't know what you're
And-
talking about right
And
now.
all you had to do, listen, I don't think this would save the movie. Just have the dumbass butterflies fly in and make the stag show
Something.
up.
Something.
Just be like,
She
hey,
rides
what
the
check
stag
this
and
shit out.
She rides Aslan into the finale.
Sure.
Wouldn't that
Why
make
not?
more
That's her
sense?
The
steed.
I'm-
troll comes back and smashes down the gate, and then the woodland animals massacre the
Thank
castle.
you.
That would have been
Right?
amazing.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
it make more sense to be like, we're on your side. We got this. Like something? No, nothing.
Two
Instead-
squirrels eating a dude in armor. I would have watched that
Yeah.
movie in a heartbeat.
But
Why not?
also, she just died. No one is like, instead, they're just like,
They're
"Oh, she's
they're
giving a
literally
speech."
still mourning her death when
Yeah.
she walks out and is like,
Yeah.
you guys want to, let's go to the club.
Yeah.
Well,
No big
She
deal.
also could. She also should have like at some point in this gotten a facial scar, and then like that could have related to that other part of the movie
Sure.
that didn't
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
matter. Like
No.
there are ways
It's
to
a
tie this
no,
all
no,
in.
no.
Yeah.
Ooh, how about
Instead, they're
that?
just
What
gonna
if
charge
No.
impenetrable fortress, and the only way to get inside is to sneak through the poop chute.
How
Well,
about
we
Emily's?
get to that.
Oh yeah, well, Emily's thing about like her being the fairest is basically a physical comparison. Have the queen like scar her on accident, or like do a
Yeah,
true
something.
twist on Snow White where
And the
Then,
mirror
yes.
She's-
still says,
she's not
Yes.
air quotes pretty anymore.
Yeah.
but
And
she's
then you
still,
have-
yes,
Right.
She's still the fairest.
exactly. But
You
Have Chris
know,
Hemsworth be the fairest. It turns out it was Chris
Sure.
Hemsworth all along.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
he's
At
the
this
fairest
point,
in the land as far as
let's
I'm
be
concerned.
serious.
I don't.
So during this time, the queen has drained like 50 people to be like 30 years old again.
Hell
so like you
yeah.
guys said, there's like a pile of
She's
dead
pulling
bodies.
up upstairs. Got the keg tapped.
So Princess and all the peeps are armored up. Okay, I guess they had armor for her that fit her too, but
It's
whatever.
it's Aragorn's armor. It's got the tree on it. You can see it.
Does it?
Okay.
If we have a
The-
picture, then you can
Like,
they copied and pasted it.
But
We're about-
Joe in the chat says, and the mirror's like, I still hit that.
That is how it is. I feel like she's like now, and it's like not sure.
damn,
Okay,
girl.
they go
Maybe
to
if you
castle.
lost a few pounds.
The
Is the
castle's,
mirror
in
like
the
an
middle of the
awful
water. I think the mirror's a little
gaslighting
it's a
jackass?
Shit. Yeah, little
Yeah.
piece of crap. Yeah, we were like,
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't
now, and
matter
it's like,
because it doesn't come back. So
Right.
That's
Yeah, the
true.
mirror just never
Not a
is
killer.
spoken of again.
goes away. They go to the castle. I didn't realize the castle's like built in the ocean. I don't.
It's a cool castle.
But
Do you guys
okay.
remember
Points for
this
that.
pic of Chris Hemsworth
Well,
getting ready for Thor
Can't see it.
4?
Yeah, you gotta show it.
Oh, him with the in the ship where his arm is a
Oh,
person.
He's
like
me,
8
my,
feet wide.
My body.
I can't
is
even
his
see
left
the
arm.
picture, and I
know
know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I can't.
He's got
see it
this
either, but
Taika
Like his
Waititi's next to him.
shoulder
it's
is
a perfect-
bigger
yes,
than my
look
head.
At that. That's fucking insane. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's not the Huntsman,
that-
though. That's
That
Thor.
movie sucked, unfortunately.
Where the fuck was I? Okay, castle's in the middle of the wire. Princess knows about the poop shoot. She sends the dwarves in. She's like, "You guys are little. Get on
Trust
in
me.
there."
I
Okay.
did this cool slide move earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just think guys have to
Her-
reverse poop shoot.
Her
but you
and
have to be super
Chris-
short to get through it.
I don't know.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
They get in there, but her
don't
and
know.
Chris have not talked.
I think she
since
just hates him.
Right. Since she woke up from the dead. I don't know. He tries to talk to her. She seems super pissed off about that. They're on the horse and he says something to her and she's like, she does one of the weird faces and you're like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
I was tuned out at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. The dwarves are going to open up the gate for them, but the tide's coming in, all this shit. They're running on the beach way too close to the water. Like, just move up.
But they
Yeah.
say
I
the
don't
most
know what-
memorable line of the whole show, which is, and I quote, and this is a description of how I felt watching this movie. We were promised gold, and what did we get? Poo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
God. My God. Okay. So
I mean, it's,
during this,
Yeah.
I wrote the
Yeah.
castle's throwing flaming catapults at them, and Ben said, "Those are traps." And so I wrote that
Yeah.
down. 'cause
She's
I was
called
like,
a
"I'm so
counterweight,
sorry,
sweetie. Look it
but-
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, bitch. But
It's not a catapult,
so
Emily.
I'm so sorry.
You don't recognize a tension-based
How
catapult
fucking
versus a
embarrassing.
weight-based
I'm so sorry,
trebuchet?
trebuchet.
Yeah.
thankfully, when they pour the burning pitch all over the horses, the knights put their shields up, and then the pitch doesn't do anything.
Also, are those
don't.
not the milk troughs that we saw earlier?
I don't know. Sometimes
I
he
don't know.
bathes in oil. Sometimes
I don't know.
it's hot. Like who
This
knows?
okay, this charge
Remember
down
when
the
we were
beach.
poor and wanted
Half of the
milk?
riders I wrote down are being taken out because they're like waiting at the door, and they're just standing
But
there
this
being
milk
shot.
drinkers-
This
Anyway.
charge down the beach is from a $500,000 movie. Like it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Armor's on the like the choreography's insane. There's like 200 real horses with
That is
riders
true.
on it.
It is not fake in any
Yeah.
way. Yes, and they're legit.
There's
like
no
on the beach
CGI
in
here.
yeah, exactly.
If-
And like
Ro- if-
Kristen Stewart is on a horse, like getting shit thrown in her face.
Yeah, also, you're
and
like,
having to
but
deal with it.
nobody cares.
But
if
it does
Valkyries-
not
if,
matter.
If Ride of the Valkyries had been playing while they're charging
Oh
down
man,
the beach,
hell yeah.
and there were
Right.
helicopters in the background, it would not have been out of place
Right.
at all. Just like machine guns, rockets,
Right.
spaceships, anything. I mean,
It's
frankly,
so
this is
unearned.
not
though.
from the same movie. Yeah.
Well, and what I think is like they get stuck at the gate because the dwarves get busted trying to open it, and
Well,
somebody
they're-
cuts the rope to the counterweight for the portcullis, so
Yeah.
they can't. Now they're not strong enough anymore to pull it up because they don't have the counterweight.
Yeah.
But none of that is explained. They assume
Right.
that
No.
you, the viewer, would understand how a
Understand how a
portcullis is
portcullis works. works.
it
Right.
is raised with
they
a
don't
counterweight.
really show it good either,
Like,
because
that's
I at one
No, it
point
doesn't.
was like, why are there so many doors? And then Ben told me, and I was like,
I'm
I
totally there
didn't even
for
notice.
it. That you assume the viewer has some level of
Yes.
intelligence.
Yeah.
But
Assume
that
I
is
understand.
crazy for
But
a
also,
big
like-
budget Hollywood movie to be like,
Yeah.
people will get why this is happening.
But
Yeah,
I
it's like
didn't even
oh well,
notice, so
everyone
I
knows the
didn't- yeah.
Mott and Bailey. The Bailey is going to be outside the Mott, and then we'll
Right.
retreat back into it. So like, no, nobody has any idea like about the exact physics of the gate. I was impressed. I mean, I felt like my favorite part of the movie.
A lot of this movie is really well done, except
But-
for a lot of this movie is poorly done.
Unfortunately, it's followed up by the least accurate part of the movie, which is that William has been an archer the whole time. He's a ranger, but then he's wearing plate mail, which is heavy
Yeah.
armor.
Yep.
He can't wear plate
Yep.
mail. That
And he's
is
firing
not
a
his-
bow in it
there's-
too.
there's a
Multi-class,
lot.
Right.
Phil.
He just got rid of his whole dex bonus, and he is going to get.
He's the
like
Baron's
come on.
son. He
So-
was trained
That's
as a
ridiculous.
I
fighter,
wrote
but
down-
he's been also
I wrote
playing
down
ranger.
William gets armor.
Oh my gosh.
Armor. Snow gets armor. Chris.
Chris does not.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, we
Multi-class
ran
scene,
out,
except-
bitch. He's in the thick of it, and it's like you get a T-shirt.
He's a barbarian. He loses his bonus to AC.
He is a
if he puts
barbarian.
armor on.
They have to show his arms. They have to have his arms take up the pick, and if he was wearing anything on his like sleeves, you wouldn't be able to see his massive muscles.
This is the first movie I've seen Chris Hemsworth look small in
I was
the
gonna
past
say,
10 years.
I know, I thought it was
compared
one of
to
his
anything
brothers at
else, You're like,
first.
well, that's
Yeah.
yeah. Ben was like,
You know-
which
And it's just
What is
about
that?
it's
Chris
just about how they've shot him. He just doesn't look
he just
big,
looks, yeah.
right? Compared
Even though
to
in person, you'd be like, shit. Like,
well,
I'm
and
sure
like we talked about, the
usually-
dwarves are very convincing
That is
trick shots of real actors. as
That's the
little
really
people.
sad part about this movie is that
There's a lot
the
of really
scenes are
good
shot
stuff.
well. There was
Yeah.
very good people on the staff of this movie that
Yeah.
made a lot of really good stuff,
It's
but
just
they
the
had
story was
no
bad.
script.
Yeah.
There
It's
was
Zack
no
Snyder. Like you said,
script.
there's no story. There's
It's
no
25 amazing set pieces stapled together into an incoherent mess of movie. That like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you watched any of these scenes and were like, "Oh, that movie looks cool," I bet that has an interesting plot
Right.
and would make
Exactly.
sense.
It's like a
That's
trailer.
why
Doesn't
the
at all.
trailer looks
Yeah,
great.
right,
The
right.
trailer looks
Yeah.
great.
Charlize Theron comes out of the milk bath and
The
looks
milk,
like
Well, and
some
like-
creepy
the
witch, and you're like,
brains
"What
Kristen
is
around
happening?"
Stewart
her and shit.
in the armor on the
Yeah.
horse on the beach.
It's
I'm
fantastic.
totally
The
there for
soldiers
it.
turning into
I'm
like
into
glass
it.
shards.
But also,
Perfect.
guess what?
But
We
that
forgot
can't
to
be it.
establish that Snow White can fight. We forgot to establish she can
Oh
swing
my
a
God.
sword or ride a
Picked up
horse
sword for the first
or do
time
anything.
30 seconds ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been
just
in a
Absolutely
castle
makes you
for
just
12
go
years.
like,
How'd she learn how to ride a horse? How'd she
It-
learn how to do fucking anything?
it takes everything that's good about that scene, and it just takes
Oh,
all
yeah.
the wind
Whoa.
out of it.
Sucks
Just
the air
because
straight
it's
out of it.
So
right?
not
Yeah.
earned.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when they get in there, though, she immediately like finds the door, runs upstairs, finds
Yep.
the queen, which is okay.
Sure. Whatever.
She walks up to her. Queen doesn't seem scared. They're about 15 feet apart. The gang's hanging out behind the door behind her, which is like, okay, I guess. The queen drops like glass and shards and shit all over the soldiers and all the guys. Okay, it's a little distraction. Snow runs at her. The queen punches her. She's down immediately, okay? She does it again, smashes her in the face into a step. She tries to cut her. The queen grabs her, slaps her about 15 feet away. Like, immediately you're like, bitch, I don't think we are prepared for this. Okay, the queen stands in the fire. Her skin's burning off while she, like, yells at her. It's one of those
This is
scenes
an
again.
interesting choice. Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I was like, why is she burning her skin off? But whatever.
From another movie. I can't think of what one it is, but this definitely happens somewhere
I
else.
don't know. She gives a weird
I don't
speech.
doubt that for a second.
She kinda
yeah,
heals
I'm sure it's
herself.
from something else. Yeah.
So Snow reaches for the sword that she had, but instead she grabs the dagger that Chris gave her at the beginning, guys. Okay, so it's like the little guy stabs her in the stomach, and the curse is undone by the Ferris blood. So therefore, the queen immediately is like done. so.
Which our main
Just-
character
but
says
why?
out loud.
Yes.
The curse is
She-
undone by Ferris blood.
Which I've
And
And
you're
she
like,
says, and I quote,
Is that how
I
people
quote-
talk?
you can't have my heart.
Right.
Yes, I wrote that down.
And then she stabs her, and 3 drops of blood fall onto the ground,
Oh.
which
You're
is a
like-
callback to when her
To the
mom
milk
wanted
blood.
to have
Was,
her as
yeah.
the baby, which doesn't really make any sense. But I mean, I
Which-
guess sure, whatever. Like,
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
then she also
what
does
that
this
had to
shit
do with
as if
anything.
she feels bad for her, and she's like, "Well, you can't have like
Well,
she doesn't say it in
again,
a mean way."
you-
And you're like,
why
I
gotta-
don't.
why
You
can Snow
gotta
White kill her?
prove that Snow
She's
White
a
is
fucking
worth
Ferris,
it.
bitch. Yeah,
Right.
no. As I know,
If
she's
Snow
fucking
White had
vanilla.
stabbed her and somehow said, again, I'm not a writer, put her hand on the cut and heal her and spare her and lift the curse
Right.
and let the
something.
witch die peacefully, right? That's what makes her fair, I guess.
Or-
Instead she just sort of like stands
She's
back and
wiped her
watches
out.
her die.
It doesn't. And also, what does she prove during the movie? You touched a stag. You haven't helped anyone. You haven't done anything.
don't know.
Get
How
it.
are you the best of the best? I
Get
don't.
it.
She didn't
don't know
even
what your
ride the
powers
stag into
are.
the castle. What was
She
the whole
didn't do
point? Why did
anything.
we see this movie? I wanted to see Kristen Stewart ride a stag into a witch.
We got pretty close. But
I
You know
just,
what?
but like, no man can kill the Witch King or whatever. So
Is
a
that her
woman
thing?
kills him.
is that the joke?
But only the fairest can kill the queen, but everybody knows it, and everybody knows it's her. And then she is
Right.
getting her ass kicked, but then kills her anyway. Why?
Yeah.
Why? How?
Well, and I guess crucially, like, this isn't the first time we've seen Charlize Theron get stabbed in this movie. Earlier in the movie, another guy
Yes.
stabbed her, and nothing happens. And
Yep.
like, her power got drained, but then she bulked up by drinking the souls of all those women in the middle of the movie. So like, what happened? It doesn't connect to the dots. They definitely wrote this movie in scenes and then tried to
Yeah.
just staple them
Yeah.
together to figure out
This
how they
is-
could make it work.
This was a
Right.
storyboard that some executive came in and said, "Hell yeah, that's that is an IP I don't have to pay a license for, and this looks really cool." Green light, like that's it.
If
There's
somebody
no
laid
script.
like the final product, if somebody laid that out in front of me, but I didn't watch it for 2 hours. They just kind of told me
Sure.
about it for 30 minutes.
I get
I'd
it.
be like, that sounds badass.
Yeah. I get it. I
But
get
then
it.
All of those scenes are fantastic. I would love to watch a scene of them fighting a troll and
Yeah.
dueling in the woods or whatever. But
What
it didn't
Phil,
work.
What of all the movies you could choose? You said you want to come on the show and we'll
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah.
Why this movie?
We haven't even finished it, and you're like asking. Them
Oh,
this,
it's
like,
done. No, it's
All right.
done.
No, we
It's
have not
over.
finished it, bitch.
Wait. No, because there's multiple more movies that it references real quick before I get to Ben's question.
You have a
Emily,
list?
let's finish it
Yeah,
out.
I wanna hear.
Sorry, I'm trying
Okay.
to.
I
Like,
thought we were
where
done.
the fuck are we?
She was dead.
She
I thought
stabbed
we were
him.
done.
She
I think
stabbed him.
that's it.
Hard cut from stabbing
Okay.
to the coronation scene from Lord of the
Okay.
Rings.
Oh,
where
yeah,
they're
that's really weird.
She
The
turns
coronation
old and
scene
dies.
sucks.
Okay, nature's coming back.
Yeah.
They crowned her as a queen.
She's got a branch
Okay,
for
this
some
is where
reason.
I wrote she
part
looks
of the stag
physically
antler.
ill when they
Yeah,
put the crown
so
on her head.
They told her you just ran up a hill, breathe super
Yes.
awkwardly, and she goes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like weeping
She's
on
like
the
being
throne.
weird. So she lifts a branch, and all the
I don't remember
girls
this
the
part.
queen took youth from her. Oh, are back again. Like
they're
everybody's
just
healthy
back.
again.
I think I fell
They
asleep.
were
I
just
was
all-
like, what am I
they're all
writing here?
dead.
She lifts a branch. Dwarves like yell, "Hail the queen!" I said again. She looks sick to her stomach. She sees
does.
Chris creeping around in the
He looks
crowd in the
ill.
back.
Yeah.
Like he was too busy to get there. She half smiles. She looks like she might throw up. Music amps up. I guess that's the end. And then I wrote
CGI
what?
doors
And that
slam
was
shut, and then the movie ends. There's a pair of
Okay,
CGI doors. for no
between
reason.
her waking up from death and the battle in the end, she has never talked to Will or Chris about the fact that she died and fucking woke up and they went to battle. They
Nothing-
never
none of
speak.
it.
Are you
Nobody
saying?
ever speaks.
Are you saying after
Also, where's Will?
after
what
Will
happened with that?
kisses her and then after the huntsman kisses her?
Nothing. They don't talk.
Neither one of them
Nope.
say another line to
Nope.
her the whole rest of the movie.
No.
See,
They
the
do
only
not.
lines she says to anyone are,
It's
the
that speech
random
about being
about everyone
brothers.
being a brother, and then
Who's gonna
the
fight with me, bitch?
can't have my heart line to Charlize
Yes.
Theron, which also
Yes.
didn't make any sense.
She was
And
never
that's it.
she was never told that the Witch Queen
Like wanted
her heart
or something.
The Witch Queen told
Right.
the brother that she was going to
Right.
take it, but he never told her.
I'm so sad.
In that scene where he's being a creep in the prison cell, he doesn't say she wants your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he might have told her when he goes after her in the woods, but I
Maybe
don't.
he does.
Maybe
he
it's
does.
in
Oh
there.
my god.
So why did I want to watch this movie? Because it's all my favorite movies put together, which turns out is not something I actually enjoy watching.
That's
I
an
always wondered.
excellent. Yeah.
I always wondered, if someone took all my favorite movies and made some kind of one mega movie
Right.
out of all of them,
Yeah,
would I
okay.
like it? And it turns out the answer is
Yeah.
not at all. It doesn't really hold up. You
Damn it.
can't. Movies are more than just single scenes. So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I wanted to.
I had like at one point when she first meets the dwarfs, like the blind one makes like a speech about her. And I had that and I must have accidentally deleted it because I'm like looking for it and I cannot find it. But it's like
Is
a
it on one of these?
paragraph of him talking about that's what I was looking for. And he was like, she's the beauty, like all this crap that you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
I also like this
I don't
movie
know.
because it's a movie where I don't like the movie. This is a good D-list movie because it's a movie where the concepts seem so good, and
Yeah.
then you watch it and you think, well, maybe if they just changed a little, they'd have to change the whole movie to make
It's
it
a
work.
lot.
It's not like
You'd have
it's not like,
to-
oh, they messed up the ending and that
Yeah.
ruins the
Right.
movie. It's like, you really have to change the whole movie to make
No.
it
Yep.
good. It's
That's
no
fair.
part of it.
This is
gonna-
the
Yeah.
one thing
is gonna
that the
affect
dwarf
it.
says. So he tells Chris, he says, no one's ever seen the stag before. He says the stag is a blessing. She is life itself. She will heal the land. She is the one. She will lead. And you're like, where are we
Okay.
getting this from? Like
That was from a different movie. It's
like,
not this
what-
one.
I don't understand why we would say this all of a sudden. It's not like you're like, yeah, she's shown this. You're like, she literally hasn't done anything. She got out of prison and that's it. Like that's it.
That's
I
it.
don't know.
It's so weird.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
We have watched a lot of bad
Oh my
movies,
God.
and I feel like this one lets you down in a way that makes it feel like at the end you shouldn't have spent the time to watch it.
Yep.
What
Where a
could
lot
you
of other ones
do?
are like, this is kind of interesting. It's not very good, but I was
Right.
curious about it. I'm kind
Right.
of glad I watched it. This is like every time it feels like it could give you something, it just takes it away.
And you feel you know the emotions and the thoughts you're supposed to feel during each of
Right.
these scenes. You just don't
Right.
feel them.
No.
It's like,
Right.
man, this seems like it could have been an epic scene, and I know
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do. It's just not because I
Yeah.
don't care.
There's
Well,
no.
yeah.
There's never
ahead, Emily.
anything earned. There's
well, like
never
like the
anything earned.
crows or whatever, like going around her, and you're like, okay, what is that? I don't know.
What do
scene
crows
we're going
mean?
For you didn't do it before or
What is
after. Like you can't just show it and then be done. Like shit like that. The milk bath. You're like, does this like make her young? I don't know what we're doing here. You didn't see.
Yeah.
So
And again, it was like this milk bath scene in a different movie could have been super imposing and like
Yeah.
scary,
Sure.
or
Right. Or it
impressive.
exposes
but
a moment of weakness, or
But this
some
movie
sort
is
like
of.
healing or something.
Right,
But
the
instead,
Bene
I'm like,
Gesserit
I
are
don't know.
getting
You
their
look like you're
powers.
just
Right.
taking a milk bath. I don't know. What
In
you're
this
doing.
movie, you wonder why the peasants were drinking the milk bath
Yeah.
instead
Why is
Yeah,
the
you're
milk
like,
bath
whatever
so
they were
big
going
too?
for.
It's like a goddamn.
Other than the
But
obvious
I
reasons.
Pool,
I-
like
I
Why
that.
think
would I
that-
drink the milk bath?
You hit the nail on the head with the crow scene.
Yeah.
Of all the scenes in the movie, there's a scene where it cuts
It's like,
to the Witch Queen
that's it.
being surrounded by crows.
And then cuts
and we've
out.
never seen anything before that to say that this means something, and we never see anything afterwards to say that that meant something. It's just this weird thing where somebody was like, "Wouldn't it be cool if she's like,
What if
Yeah,
she's
that'd
like
be
a
has
cool.
crow
surrounded by a
daddy?
swarm of crows?"
but you have to be like that. Powers her. She's doing like you have to.
Right.
You have
I
to
don't know.
say something. You can't just be like,
Right.
"Oh, is that cool?"
No. Nothing between when she leaves the castle and when she goes back into it has any bearing on the outcome of the movie. She doesn't learn to
Yeah.
fight. She doesn't learn how to use any powers. She doesn't build any relationships.
No,
There's no
nothing.
one in that room with her. None of it matters. Like you
No.
could have just had her run away and then ride right back in and kill the queen, and
That's
it
a
would have
very
still
good
made
point.
just as
There's
much
Yeah.
no
sense. Like
She
hero's
did not
journey.
Yeah.
grow. She did not
Yeah.
grow in any way. Essentially, it was you were born this way, and you will now forever just be
Right.
this
She's
person
Lady
who-
Gaga.
It's just
That's
you're
it.
the hero. Be the hero. We're gonna throw your
Yeah.
hero corpse into the room to fight the
Exactly.
queen if we have
and
to.
it worked. And it
She
works
didn't
with
grow or
It
like
worked.
build up anything. Nothing.
Yeah.
Chris and William don't learn anything and help her in the
Mm-mm.
I guess
movie.
Chris
The
is less
dwarves help her.
drunk. I don't know what
The
is that. What
dwarves
we're
help her
going
get
to?
into the castle, which is where she started in the first place. So
Right.
it's not like
I
that really
don't know
changes
what
anything.
we're doing. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Right, she had a nail hidden on her person. She should have just gone with the brother in the beginning, and then when she saw the queen, stabbed her.
It's after the one bright spot
Okay.
is that the prequel is out there available for us to
Oh my
watch,
God, we-
I
and we
kinda
can
wanna
go
I
see
can't
it.
wait. I
Oh, wait,
can't
but
wait.
here's the thing.
It can't be
I'm
worse.
sorry,
It can't
But
be.
wait, can you go first?
Well, I want to see. So this movie made money. It did
Yeah.
well.
No,
It did okay.
It did.
enough to
made
make a
money.
sequel that lost a
I
lot
think
of
it
money.
It
tricked
made it-
people.
Right. It made enough money to make a sequel that truly bombed.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what
We need to-
happens in the
yeah.
sequel.
But also, Charlize
That-
Theron is back in the sequel. How?
The sequel
It's a prequel.
has
It's a prequel.
more
Is it
star
the-
power.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I gotcha.
Chris Hemsworth's wife is a main character, and Emily Blunt is in it. How they landed
and I
Emily
don't think
Blunt
Chris
as an
That's what I'm
Hemsworth's
additional-
in
saying.
it.
The cast
Really.
of the prequel has
Jessica
way bigger
Chastain,
names. Yeah.
Guess
Yes,
what,
yes.
guys? We'll be back next
Oh my
month
God.
Ah.
with a sequel.
Okay, but overall, so she marries the king, kills him, immediately is like, I'm evil, and like takes everyone in town and villages around know if you're pretty, you screwed. Okay.
Right.
They know. Wouldn't you rather just be
RIP
married
for
to him
me.
and like and quietly every
You'd
now
be
and
safe.
then steal a girl?
No, I'm dead.
and
I'm a
suck
dead
out her
man.
youth?
Prettiest man. What
But
if
wouldn't
she
you,
like
Wouldn't you secretly just like take girls now and then and like suck out their youth and be the queen of like a good? Wouldn't that be like
she
the
hated
easier
men,
solution?
so she didn't want to marry him. Why didn't she just let him die and be like, well, I guess I'm the queen now, and then
That's
rule
what-
the kingdom? I don't know why
yeah,
she had to
instead of being, like,
physically
evil,
butcher his
yeah.
chest and then
Like, why not be like he died whatever way,
Doesn't matter.
and then. But if,
Why-
if
why
you were
was it-
secretly taking girls, you could have them more because in it they talked about they're like, oh well, like there's no girls even left for her to get, and you're like, well,
What?
if you were like
And why
right
did they-
about it, you could probably like steal them and do it longer, right?
Why was that village like the Children of the Corn, like
I don't know. They
creepy
were all
people who
fucking weird.
just lived there?
They
And
were
that
all weird.
there's the only village in the whole area because they just sort of ride into it and
there's
are like, yeah, this
no
is our
there's no
village.
kingdom outside the castle.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
was
Castle
really
walls,
weird.
You're done.
No,
Yeah.
there's that one weird village.
but
The
they're all
one
creeps.
village
The
with the
muddy
women.
village.
Women
The-
with
No,
Those
no
no.
women.
disgusting
Not the-
women with minor
Easter Sky.
No,
Like
but there's
slight
also
those very
scars.
minor scars.
there's the castle, and then
yuck.
there's the mud
Hate 'em.
village.
Yeah, but they're
Where-
all like children of the corn. They're creepy. They're the ones who
The
just
mud
stared at
village?
her
That's
on
where
the
William
horse.
knows to go to do the
Yeah,
double
where
arrow.
Yeah.
William
Same place.
said, "Hey,
But
I'm
what-
for the team."
Where's Chris Hemsworth then? Where does he start?
Maybe I blacked
in the
out during
same
the mud
village?
That's
village.
true.
I don't
He's
remember that.
he's clearly in like a town, but I don't know where that is. But it
I don't
has to
know.
be close because it's only been a couple of hours
But why
from
they-
when Snow White left the castle.
That-
He's
when
in
they
the
got-
he's in the castle. He
castle.
lives.
But
That's
why
not
did
the-
they
in the-
even hire him? The fucking brother's the better tracker. Did you see him? He followed them around the goddamn world.
He didn't have those powers until she gave him extra power when he
No,
that's-
healed
no,
his
this
eye.
Ben,
That's when he
no,
became
you
trapped.
always
wrong,
do this.
Wrong.
You write things into the story that are definitely
up.
not there.
Not. Won't
When
make
she
camera.
healed the nail cut, she
No.
gave him
There
some
we
of
go.
her power.
No.
That's why she was
No.
being drained so quickly. And
No.
when she finally didn't heal him when he was on the
Every
roots.
time she was old, you're like, "Whoa, you 36?" Like she was not old.
Oh
in any
shit!
way.
What a gross ass
Yeah, it was,
29-year-old.
Like, sick.
But I think-
like, she
I think we
was-
can agree though that the most disgusting part of the brother was then when he had that minor facial scar. It was like, oh my gosh, this is
Yeah.
awful. And
I
then
was
she
gonna
fixed
try
it. It
to
was
his
like
haircut.
now I can watch him
Unacceptable.
again. Now
Yeah.
that was just disfiguring.
his
That's
haircut.
what made him
I
gross.
can't do the hair.
Not his haircut.
It's that his hair went like under. I can't.
Yeah, you have to
Ah.
pull the. I think
It
you have to
has
pull
to
the
be, like-
bangs up,
Yeah.
and then you have to sort of pull the long hair under
I
so
think I
that
got
it.
I think
but
you got
this
it.
has to be.
You're
Wait,
getting
Phil's
there.
Shit,
doing
I
it.
almost.
Phil's pretty close.
Phil, if it was long on the side,
It is needs to be long on the sides. You know, with that, I think it's time to put a little bow on this, wrap this up. Phil, I really, really appreciate you joining the stream
Yes,
this time.
thank you.
And
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
look forward to having you on for the sequel
We need a
prequel
sequel.
Absolutely.
on the
Yeah.
next
can't wait.
stream.
It's called Winter's War, I believe.
Winter's War. If you watch
Are-
the trailer,
there
it,
two
it
or-
looks just as amazing as this one did in the trailer.
there
So
three?
I'm excited.
Are there just two, or is there a third
So
one?
far,
I think that's it.
we,
Okay.
So
I mean,
I
we could start
started
a GoFundMe
Should we?
for a
I
third.
started a
We
hashtag,
can probably make our
so
own.
if
We
you,
just need
if
like
you can get
5
on
good
there.
scenes, and we can. Oh my gosh, should we make our own?
And with that, we're going to wrap up this stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. If you caught us on Twitch. Otherwise, thank you for watching on YouTube. And we'll see you next time on the next Date Night D-List Movie Review. See you later.
Bye bye.